Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Brenton Files Monsters. Oh my god, I don't know the name of my own show. Monsters and Myths on the Greyhawk channel. Woo, it's going well this afternoon. Thanks for being here with us on the Greyhawk channel. We are so excited to be back for episode 4. Can they handle the truth? Which is a terrible pun. Made even worse if you weren't here with us last week to know what we're talking about, but that is okay. We're so happy that you are here with us this week. My name is Eugenio. I use he, him pronouns, and I am also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. Let us know who you're playing and all of that good stuff. Let's start over here with Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I use he, they pronouns. I'm playing Merrick. They use they, them pronouns. They are a sassy, bitchy, tiefling conjurer who might have some issues. We don't know.
Might have some issues? I have a lot of questions. Ismael!
Yes, Ismael Alvarez. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Zephyr Stewart, who also uses he, him pronouns, who is a half-elf bard.
Fantastic. Moving right on around, Miss Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Zenda, who also uses she, her pronouns, who is a halfling rogue, a little swashbuckler. That's me.
All right, and last but most certainly not least, Miss Alicia.
Hey, I'm Alicia. I use she, her pronouns. I play Lambeau Rathul, who also uses she, her pronouns. She's an Earth Genasi sorcerer who just wants everybody to get along. Why can't we do that?
Just get along. It's why you can't do that? Because you got Merrick in your party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, Mary.
All right, before we get started into this too deeply, I want to quickly shout out some of the awesome sponsors and supporters that we have here on the Greyhawk channel. First and foremost, we want to thank, of course, all of you who have either subscribed to the Twitch channel here and or joined our Patreon at patreon.com/thegreyhawk channel. We appreciate your support of all that we do here and all of the incredible programming that we've got going on every week, which you can see if you click on the schedule link below. Would not be possible without your support, so thank you. Next, we want to thank Roll20. Once again, we will not be using their virtual tabletop system today, though we may in future sessions, but in general, the Greyhawk is officially supported by Roll20, the world's leading virtual tabletop. You can try out their services for free at roll20.net. We also have an official battle map sponsor. Heroic Maps has more than 300 maps available on DriveThruRPG, so go check those out. We're sponsored by Tabletop Loot. You can go to tabletoploot.com and use the coupon code Greyhawk to get 15% off of any dice order. And last but most certainly not least, we want to thank Devin Rue and Cantrip Candles for both of their support. Our Patreon supporters and our Twitch subscribers can get access to exclusive coupon codes on those websites in the private supporter channel of our Discord. You can check out everything that they have available at their respective sites, which are rueinc.com, that's rueink.com, and cantripcandles.com. Finally, some in-house housekeeping. As you all probably know by now, we've got these fun little bars here at the bottom of the window. We've got a summer season follower goal of 400 new followers, and it looks like we're sitting at 210, so we are well past halfway, and we are only in the first month of the season, so we're doing great. But if you haven't already, go up to the top of this little screen and hit that heart button so that you are following the channel, so that we can continue to get closer and closer to our goal there. Next to that, we have a stream boss. Apparently, whoever finishes off one stream boss through donations of bits and other things of that nature gets to be the next stream boss. It's only taken me a month. I finally figured out what the hell that thing is. So if you are the one that kills off the stream boss, you get to take their place. So I would love to see one of our viewers here take the place of, who's there right now, Falcon of Venom. So any bits and things and cheers that you contribute during our show will go towards that. Finally, we have the Divine Favor button. Also, any bits or cheers that you leave for us contribute to our Divine Favor. Once we reach 100% Divine Favor, the cast here gets some sort of cool perk, like an automatic success on a saving throw, or, hey, Max, thank you for the cheer. Speaking of cheer, that is a good way to start our stream. If we manage to fill up the Divine Favor bar all the way, then the cast gets fun little perks like automatic saves on, saving throws, automatic hits on attack rolls, natural 20s, things like that. So that should cover all of our housekeeping here. Who wants to tell us a little bit about what happened last week? Anybody? Good.
No, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
last week we started with Minifay.
Minifay, yes.
With Minifay coming in, and she's kind of like the de facto or leader of the town, or at least she certainly has the swagger of the leader of the town. She came into the mansion that we had just kind of sort of unhaunted, and told us that we had done a bad thing by getting rid of the bad guy because he was apparently keeping the ecosystem in check here. And so now we were in charge of keeping the ecosystem in check, which apparently is a bunch of weird monsters that come in and trouble the town. And it was so here, these monsters are so bad that it was acceptable to sacrifice an actual living person to keep them at bay every so often. So they must be really, really bad. And then after we basically did that and made the deal with Minifay to be kind of the town's protectors, we, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had a downtime, right? Yeah, 6 months. And so a number of things happened.
Remember,
there.
It was the 6 month hand wave.
That's right, 6 month hand wave. And so a number of things happened, including, I believe I did a play.
One man show, Sweeney Todd.
There you go, one man show, Sweeney Todd. And then we came back to, and please to help me fill in the other bits because I can't remember the other things that happened in the middle.
Anybody else want to hop in at some point? Feel free, but go on if you can.
Okay, so the bits in terms of like what happened during the 6 months or after our 6 months?
6 months.
Okay.
I remember what happened after.
So our first, so what after?
The 6 months were very boring for us. We didn't do much productive.
Well, we did a couple of missions, but it always turned out to be not as bad. Like at first, it's just like, oh no, it's cranium rats, and then it's just no, they're rats on their head. Merrick did a deep dive into the shack, exploring the books, hopefully not becoming a lich. We'll see. Zenda, we established that Zenda is the only halfling in town, and her other persona is also a halfling. Best cover ever. Named Adnez, I think is what it was. They're married and eventually we got a knock on the door from somebody who was from one of the one elven family whose name I can't remember, like Ren. Oh yeah, we got a knock on the door from Ren. You're right. And whose mother had died very recently in a freak accident, and he was concerned because a note said, "Hey, cut off your mom's hands and leave them outside, and we won't do anything worse to you." Which is a no-no, because elves are like, no, preserving the body is important. So he's like, can you fix this? And so we went investigating around town because he's like, this has happened before. So we went to other families to find out. Some people want it. They're like, cut off your family member's legs or arms, and they just did it because they figured it's easier than whatever else, because the person's dead anyway. Then the one family that I think, I can't remember who had the remember this. I think it might have been Zephyr talking about the Ruiz. Like, it can't be the Ruiz family. That happened so long ago. So maybe they're connected, maybe not. We don't know. So we did a stakeout at Ren's family. Oh yes, Adnez secured us meat-filled gloves.
Oh yeah.
To substitute for the hands.
Oh, that's what that note means in my. Got it.
Agnes is getting a makeover, by the way. That was. She's getting a whole makeover.
So ready for it.
Yeah, but so she got meat-filled gloves. So we left those on the doorstep, and we just decided to hide out until whatever was going to show up. And it ended up being 3 figures that are varying levels of undead. It seemed like 2 were like more run-of-the-mill zombies, and 1 looked like a super zombie. I don't know, red eyes. It was weird. Merrick set up a trap around the gloves on the steps, so 2 of the zombies are currently caught in that. Ren, however, caught the attention of the other zombies, so we started chasing him. Ren's still alive, and then Zephyr got involved, and it's like, well, now Zephyr's in trouble, and we stopped in combat.
Yes.
Yes, that is an excellent and exciting recap of what's happening, and we are in fact in combat, as I recall, and as you mostly put, a couple of those sort of sewn together from flesh and wood and some other things. They've been trapped in Merrick's magic circle, as you said. The zombie, however, who looks sort of like a mega zombie, has gone running after Ren. Zephyr has interrupted. Ren is hiding behind Zephyr, trying to survive. Clearly not a fighter, this one. He was apprenticed to his mother, the woodcarver, and so he was not prepared for this. So we are, in fact, going to move into combat. And we are at the top of the third round. Merrick, you are up first.
Oh God. Am I still in the house? I'm outside the house.
I believe you were moving to get out of the house because you realized that your trap had worked. So we'll say that you can get outside the house on this turn, sure.
I wanted to go back around to help them because the zombies out front can stay there for a while. They're good. We don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, because that's not even a concentration spell, right? Or something crazy like that?
Nope. It just lasts for
an
a long
hour,
time.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
Which is why it took a minute to cast.
Right, exactly. All right, so Merrick is
we'll be back.
Merrick is running out of the house and presumably through the back door.
Yes.
Yeah, since they're at the front door. All right.
Mm-hmm. And there's a big ass zombie there.
There is a big ass zombie a little ways away. You probably won't all be able to get within melee range of him, but you can see him in the distance fighting Zephyr.
I'm a wizard. I don't want to be in melee range.
Look, I'm just telling you the facts. Just the
Would
facts.
you say
sir.
I'm 60 feet away from it?
Sure.
Guess what we gonna make?
I don't know.
We gonna make some demons, bitches.
Oh no.
We gonna make
no!
demons right up in this bitch.
Okay, so we're summoning lesser demons.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, so tell us what that looks like, Merrick, as you use blood or some. This spell is real weird. I know you've done it before, but
I'm not using. That's optional.
yeah, all right. You do what you want. You tell me.
It's a plume of smoke.
Okay.
Comes from my wand and splits off into how many different? Splits off into
This is somewhat greater.
Two.
than I'm looking at. That's not
into
correct.
2 separate little circles and starts like swirling up and upwards and making 2 demons of challenge rating 1 or lower.
All right.
So they're a little stronger than last time, but it's like 2 this time.
All right. So they begin to take form as you cast this spell. And do they roll? They roll their own initiative, right? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and roll initiative for them while I figure out what demons we've got going. My D&D bonus is very slow. There we go. All right. So as these plumes of smoke begin to take form, Ren sort of lets out yet another little yelp, since he was certainly not expecting more things to be coming, and he doesn't know you well enough to know that this is just a thing you do.
They're my friends.
Well, I don't know about that. Don't you not have control over them? They just attack the closest thing they see.
Yes, but I can get rid of them easily if they start going haywire.
That's true. That's true. All right, so let's see. Are they supposed to be the same thing? Yes, probably.
Yes.
Let's have some fun. Now these are demons, right? So we're gonna summon a couple of maw demons, which are basically exactly what they sound like. They're just what happened?
What the heck did I come back into?
I don't know, but there are currently 2 video feeds of you, which is sort of unfortunate. Let's see if I can get rid of one of them.
Get out. Can you kick the one that's frozen?
I am trying, but it is not actually doing anything. Great. God, technology really loves me when we run this show, doesn't it, folks?
Just move her to the bottom.
I mean, there we go.
Same.
Yeah, there we go. All right. That was exciting, and I loved everything about it. All right, so 2 maw demons, which are essentially these short, squat, little giant mouths, there's not much more to them, appear very close to, I will assume, sort of on either side of this zombie. And what did they roll for their initiative?
13 plus whatever their dex is.
13 minus 1, in fact.
Love
that. Alrighty, so they're gonna go in the initiative in a little while, but in the meantime, what is Lazarus doing during all this? Your
Lazarus-
Raven familiar?
I'm just gonna snap Lazarus away. I don't need him right now.
Okay, so Lazarus goes away. Fantastic.
We don't need to keep track of all that.
All right. The zombie's turn, and the zombie is very focused currently on our friend Zephyr. So at the moment, it's going to continue to take attacks against you. So it is going to try and slam into you. Let us see. Come on. There we go. It's going to slam against you twice, right? The first time, it just throws itself whole hog at you. +7. As an 18 hits you?
Yes.
All right. And the second attack slams against you for a 19 to hit. So both of those hits, and you're going to take... Roll 2d6 plus 8. You're going to take a total of 17 bludgeoning damage, and each time it hits you, you can feel your sort of life force being drained away, and you take an additional 18 necrotic damage from both of those hits together. It is serious business, this. Oh boy, it changed back. Here we go. It is serious business, this big old zombie, and it is painful in the extreme, Zephyr.
It was 18, and what was the other amount?
It was 17 bludgeoning and 18 necrotic, so a total of 35.
Okay, I'm still up, but I'm in single digits.
Oof. So you all, those of you who can see your friend Zephyr and the zombie right now, you just see this thing absolutely lay him low. It slams into him, pummeling him right in the face with one punch and then slamming him in the gut with another. Next on the initiative order are the Maw Demons, however, so the Maw Demons can go. The Maw Demons basically can each make a single bite at a +4 to hit. I assume they are going to do as much, Merrick. No.
They did not do anything.
Oh, they didn't do anything. Did they roll terribly?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so the Maw Demons try and bite, but they time their bites right at the moment that the zombie leans forward to punch Zephyr, so they both miss. Next up is Zenda. You are up.
Okay, so I'm currently in the tree on the branch still.
Correct, and you were firing, and they're a little bit out of your close range, so any
Yes.
arrows that you shoot from here are at disadvantage.
Okay, so I'm going to take the rope off my belt. I see this is happening, and I know I got to get closer. So I grab the rope off my belt, and I fling it over the branch, and I swing down to the ground, and I take the rope with me because I'm gonna need it. And as soon as I get within, how far can I get?
So go ahead and make me a dexterity acrobatics check for that little maneuver that you just did to get out of the tree.
Dexterity acrobatics.
I feel like you're pretty good at this one.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm not looking at the chat. Oh,
29?
yes, that's a 29. Yes, so you execute an additional spin on a backflip to get out of this. It's very impressive. All
you.
right, and then you're going to do what?
Then once I get within range, I'm going to use another.
All right, so you'll run your full speed, and we'll say you use your bonus action as a rogue to dash so that you can get within 60 feet because it took a little bit of your movement to jump out of the tree, but you still have your action. You can fire that arrow at the zombie.
Do I do +3?
No, I think it's +7 for you.
+7. 11.
All right, I do not think that hits the zombie. No. I mean, it hits the zombie, but it sort of bounces off the zombie's toughened exterior, rotting hide, and does not hit this round. Anything else, Zenda?
No, that extra backflip just threw off my
That's right.
my balance. Something.
That was so good, and you were too busy being excited about it.
I was like, and then missed.
Exactly right.
Right.
All right. Ren is absolutely freaking out, and he's just going to panic and take off running towards all of you all. And unfortunately, he's so panicked that as he runs by, he's going to run right by the zombie who's going to take a swing at poor Ren as an attack of opportunity. Let's see. A 15 is going to hit Ren. Let's see. It's this.
I can't remember if he can use his Bardic Inspiration to increase his armor class or anything.
Do not believe so, but I will double check.
Armor class?
I think you have to be a College of Valor to do that. Yes, it's ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. Why, that sound got very loud all of a sudden. Let's turn that down a bit. Yes, I believe it is not. So he gets hit for 15 points of bludgeoning and necrotic damage, and he stumbles and gets a little ways away, but he drops to the ground unconscious. Next up are the monsters inside the trap, but they can't do anything, so they're growling and screaming impotently and banging on the walls of Merrick's magic circle, and you can see the magic flare every time they pound up against the magic circle, but not much else happens. Zephyr, you are up now.
Shoot, that complicates things, but Zephyr is going to run up and cure Ren, which I guess thankfully he drew that attack of opportunity, but he's going to try and oh gosh, how far away is he from the zombie?
He's maybe 10 feet away.
Okay, and then how far away are we from the magic circle?
I'd say a good way is probably 75 feet or so.
Shoot. Can I try and drag Ren?
Yeah? Towards where?
Towards the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you're going to drag him towards the circle. You sort of have to... The maw demons are able to sort of provide some cover for you as you get around, and you know that they'll come after you if you stay too close to them for too long, but you're able to drag him a little ways away so that the maw demons will probably still go after the zombie. Do you want to use your action to dash or do anything else?
No, because I'm using my action to heal Ren.
Okay.
Which I did, and he should have 10 hit points now.
Okay, fantastic. So you've healed him up, and he sort of comes conscious and looks around frantically and sort of looks down and feels himself to make sure that he really is alive. And you are probably about 15 feet away from the zombie at this point and about 60 feet from the front door, and he'll be able to move of his own accord on his turn next round. Lambeau, you are up.
All right. Lambeau, seeing how much damage this zombie can deal out, is going to try and target it with the super zombie with a slow.
Okay.
120 feet, which I think is still within range.
Feels reasonable. Yes, absolutely within range. That is a wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom save.
All right. That's a 4.
No.
It was a 4 to save.
Right, yeah. So it's slowed, speed halved, -2 to AC and dexterity throws, and can't use reactions.
All right, so this thing is
action or bonus, but not both.
But not both. Okay. So this thing is slowed considerably. Anything else on your turn, Lambeau? What does that look like when you slow them? I think you told us last week, but tell us again.
Oh yeah, it's basically just kind of like molasses, like flowing over slowly. It's just a sea of molasses flowing over, lightly translucent. So now it just kind of looks like he's covered in translucent syrup.
I love it. And he's really got to work to get through it. All right. That is the bottom of that round. We're at the top of round 4, and Merrick, you are up again.
Ray of sickness at this zombie, but I don't know how much poison's going to do against something that's dead. We'll see.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
That's an 18 to hit.
18 hits. I will tell you that it's not going to do any damage, but it has to make a save to avoid the poison condition as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's immune to poison. It's immune to poison damage.
Immune to poison damage. Oddly, it's not immune to the poisoned condition, so guess it's going to make that. What is it? Con save?
Yes.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's odd oversight, but anyway, or maybe it was on purpose. I don't know. 1d20 plus. That is a 10 to say, God, I can hit you all, but I can't save to save any of my creatures' lives. All right, so it is poisoned as well as slowed.
It's poisoned and you are frozen again, my friend.
Oh, no. Okay, That's so strange. I don't understand why this happens every week. I really don't. Makes me very sad. All right, that's so frustrating. The zombie's turn. The zombie is going to turn around. I'll fix my camera in just a minute. The zombie is going to turn around and try to attack the maw demons. Or one of the maw demon, I suppose. So it is going to swing twice at its closest, and it has... What did we say about the slow? Does that give it something to its attack?
So its attack is unaffected, but it's got half its movement, -2 to AC and dexterity saving throws, and it can only
That's right.
Yeah, so it can only make one attack, even if it's got a multi-attack on it. It's
Got
only
it.
make one attack.
Got it. So it's going to swing once very slowly at the Maw Demon. It's going to be a 14 to hit the Maw Demon, which does, in fact, hit. So it is going to... Is the Maw Demon... Let's see. Not immune to necrotic, so it's going to do some damage. Let's see. So the Maw Demon is going to take 15 points of damage. I'll tell you, Merrick, if you want to keep track of their hit points, they have 33 hit points each. And this one just took 15 points of damage as it slammed into that one. And it clearly sort of wants to get over to where Zephyr and Ren are, but these Maw Demons are blocking its path. And it is now their turn to retaliate for the attack against them.
Okay. First one rolled a 13.
13 does not hit. This zombie has some thick hide.
Even with the -2?
Even with the -2, a 13 does hit. Good call.
Aha!
And the second one rolled a 15.
All right, well, that would have hit anyway. They both hit. So these Maw Demons do 2d8 plus 2 piercing damage each on each hit.
2d8 plus 2, you said?
Yes.
So that's 12 total on
All
one.
right.
And then 7 total on the other.
12 total on one and 7 for a total of 19 damage against this demon, this zombie rather. How many hit points does it have? More than that. All right. It's not looking good, though. You can see that it's beginning to sort of come apart at the seams, as it were. Next up is Zenda.
Oh shit, it's me. Okay, so after failing miserably at hitting the zombie, I have a healing potion or something, right? Like
I believe all of you have a potion of healing. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Can I run and give mine to Zephyr since he's struggling?
Oh, you can hand it to him. He also has one of his own, and I normally will let you force feed potions if someone's unconscious, but
oh god, he's not
since he
unconscious.
isn't-
Okay, great.
No, he's still up.
Great. Okay, so she goes, "You good? You're good. Great." And then so I'm gonna take out my rapier and I'm going to run towards the zombie that is now starting to fall apart at the seams and try to stab it.
Absolutely, you can get up to it with that rapier. You tuck away your bow, pull out the rapier, and begin swinging. Or stabbing, I guess. You don't really swing with the rapier. You whatever, anyway. And that is... Ooh, that's a natural 20! Oh, that's going to be so many dice. All right, so normally, at 6th level, because you have... Technically, those Maw Demons are... we'll say sort of your ally, since they are also attacking the thing. I'll give it to you because you're going to kill the thing anyway. So normally you would roll 1d8 and 3d6, but since you crit, you're going to roll 2d8 and 6d6 plus your dexterity modifier, which I believe is 4. So yeah,
So 2d8 plus
6d6 plus 4. I
Plus
love it.
6.
Zenda just runs over and she's done. She's bored now. This has gone on long enough. She does 47 damage to this zombie. Tell me exactly what that looks like, Zenda.
Oh, so I pull out my rapier and I run through the Maw Demons, sliding between legs, and I go straight up, getting it right in the gut, and I just yank with all my might and try to get
Yeah, you do.
in slow motion, obviously.
Right. Oh, obviously, the whole thing goes
Obviously,
into
it's
slow
all-
motion
it's
very
all in
quickly.
slow-
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Terrible
just
win.
ichor and bits of rotting, decaying flesh go everywhere, and the demon just sort of reaches for its chest and then collapse face forward, and those Maw Demons, they just start devouring the corpse of this big old zombie in front of it. They're
Gross.
really enjoying the things as they go all in on this demon. But that has pretty much neutralized your enemies. So we can go out of initiative for the moment. I assume, Merrick, that you will dismiss the demons once they're done with their meal. Or maybe before, I don't know.
Yeah, although I'm gonna snack first.
Oh, they appreciate it. That doesn't make them like him.
Guys. Take your snack and go home, and you're getting paid. You're getting paid. Well.
All right, so we will go out of initiative, but I am still curious how you all are going to proceed. Those sewn together creatures are currently completely, incapacitated inside that circle, but it does have a finite time limit, and who knows what'll happen when that goes down. So what's the plan?
Can we like shoot into the circle?
Oh yeah, we can just stand outside and just fire away if we want to.
Can you really? God, that
Yes, we
smells
can.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
we
so
can.
we're just gonna do that.
Okay, we're not gonna play that out. I also
We can just
assume
firing squad just.
I assume that you all are using things that you have unlimited resource at will
Yeah.
spells. You're not going to blow any
Just
spell
use
slots
my
for it.
infestation cantrip and have fleas kill them.
Amazing.
That's awful.
So
Yes.
yeah, so Zenda is firing arrows in. Merrick is causing infestations of fleas. What are Zephyr and Lambeau doing to contribute to this destruction?
Lambo is shooting. Hold on. She's just. I think she's occasionally like poking in with a sword, so she can do like the green flame blade or the booming thing or whatever. So it's just like and step, and
Excellent.
step,
I love
and
it.
step.
I love it. All right. So poking. How about you, Zephyr?
Zephyr's actually not doing anything. He doesn't want to partake in this, what now is needless violence.
Totally.
It's entirely needed. They will kill us if they get out.
Oh.
But I'm not gonna do anything that's helpful. I'm just gonna go in there and poke it with my sword, and that's just gonna be getting in the way.
Totally. Absolutely.
I want to be clear. Like they will kill us. They
Right.
need to die.
Right.
Oh no, I agree entirely. But like, if I don't need to be in there stabbing dead bodies, I'm not gonna.
Fair enough.
You
All
got a
right.
heart here. You take a risk.
That's right. All right. So, that is sort of gonna wrap up that little combat. What's next on the plan? Ren is just like he's in shock. He hasn't really said much since Zephyr brought him back from unconsciousness and the brink of death. He just sort of sat far away from these creatures, like next, by the trunk of a tree, and is just sort of sitting there, wide-eyed.
So they're down.
Thank you, Merrick.
Good job, everyone. Lambo, I appreciated your slow spell during that. Clever.
Well, thank you.
I too appreciate your help. I don't know that I would have made it without all of you.
Probably not.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I know
One of these
that's
days,
right.
you're going to teach me some of your magic tricks. That's pretty.
Well, that
Right.
might take a little bit of time. Well, maybe. We'll see.
We've got time. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Merrick's gonna start investigating the bodies of these corpses.
Or what's left of them.
Yeah, the flesh golem, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that, just go ahead and make intelligence investigation checks. The rest of you can let me know what else you're doing.
I didn't find anything.
It's going well, huh? Your
These
rolls
sure
are just really like high class, capable skills tonight or this afternoon, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Anybody else?
Zephyr will try to investigate, but he'll ask his companions, not knowing the implications of what he's asking them, to see if they can help calm down Ren while he's investigating.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was going to say Lambeau's probably over by Ren, not directly touching him, just kind of kneeling in front of him. Just kind of repeating until it looks like he's responsive, just like, it's okay. The danger's gone. You're okay. Just kind of repeating that till he actually...
Sure. Why don't you make me a charisma persuasion check to see sort of how quickly and how effectively you're able to calm him.
Sure thing. That's a that plus a that.
Let's
No.
see. Oh, that's a natural 1.
Oh no!
he's sort of beyond all of that, right? Like, this is a lot that's happened to him. His mom died, and then he got this scary note. He's also, like, he's supposed to be, like, having her memorial services tomorrow, and on top of that, there are these insane-looking creatures outside his door. Demons appear. Like, it's just a lot. It's gonna take a while.
So Zafir got a 15 on the investigation.
Okay. So the you were investigating the sewn together creatures or the big zombie? Oh, the big zombie got eaten. Never mind. The sewn together creatures. Yeah, I mean, they look like they're pretty. The craftsmanship, let's say, is pretty shoddy on these things. I don't know. They're coming apart at the seams in some places. Like, the seams are beginning to rip apart. The stuffing in some of the non-organic places is sort of coming out and beginning to rot. You can see that hay was used in places, and like as you sort of investigate them, you can see that like bugs have started to live in the straw and things like that. It generally looks pretty shoddy. The other thing that I will say you notice, why don't you go ahead and make me an intelligence arcana check as well, Zafir?
Will do. $16.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, I mean, there's definitely, obviously, some sort of magic that animated these things, but you go over fairly quickly after they fall, and as you sort of touch them, you get a little sort of like zap, and you realize that there's like lightning energy, which is what you all would think of that as. Like, the primary sort of magic that you're seeing in here is probably like lightning energy more than it is like necromancy or something like that. I mean, there's obviously a little bit of everything, but
Curious. I'll share the findings with it. Well, actually, no, this is what happens. Zafir is going to go to share the findings with everyone, and then is shocked that that Ren is besides himself. Like, he doesn't say it,
right,
but he's thinking in his head, I give you guys one thing to do.
Look, you try making a goat sacrifice to the RNG god. See how far that gets you.
But Zafir will then go over to Ren and cast Catnap, and hopefully that will help him feel better after he's done with his nap.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, definitely. So Ren sort of drops off to sleep, and in about 10 minutes we'll see him back and hopefully feeling a little bit better. Merrick and Zenda, what are y'all doing?
Zenda was sitting with Ren and Lambeau,
okay,
cleaning her sword, cleaning her rapier.
Yeah, it was pretty gross after that.
It's pretty gross, pretty getting all the gunk off, and really just sort of contemplating what just happened, and just waiting for Ren to relax so he can be questioned to see if he knows anything about anybody in town that would be into whatever sort of magic was used to make these demons.
All right. Merrick, anything after your failed investigation attempt?
So Merrick is like trying to like pour over these flesh golems and isn't finding anything, and they're kind of freaking out. Like, still, even though like they've looked over like twice already, they're still like trying to pull things apart, and like they're like,
Ew.
Why can't we find anything? There's nothing here.
Ew.
And then like they're like, it's kind of obsessive and a little disturbing, just like watching them just like continue to go over and over and like trying to find something.
Totally. Yeah. It's quite the scene. It's, well past midnight now. It's dark. It is now strangely quiet. You all did sort of notice that things got quiet as those creatures approached. There are the barest remains of the demon meal in one area on the edge of the woods. These two creatures sitting at the front door of Ren's house. Ren is sleeping somewhat peacefully at the moment, but we'll sort of hop ahead a little ways. All right, and we are there. I apologize to everyone who is watching this stream. I am having all kinds of really frustrating technical issues. So once again, we're gonna take our break early. I apologize, everybody. I am really gonna try and sort this out. This is literally, I run tech for 3 different streams every week, and this is the only one that this happens on. So we will be back shortly. Hey, everybody. So we are back once again. I get to spend some time live on the air reconfiguring our video feeds. Again, I apologize for all of this, but it sort of is what it is, and I'm not good enough at OBS to know quite how to deal with it when it happens. So, You guys get to watch me do all of this. Anyway, why don't I will try to multitask and play out the conversation with Ren while I'm fixing all of this. So why don't you all tell me what you want to talk about with Ren now that he is awake and feeling a little more capable of having a conversation.
I think Lambeau is going to let somebody else talk because she screwed up royally.
Aww. It wasn't entirely her fault. Let's be fair about it all.
So
It was.
Zafir will head over to him as soon as he's basically waking up and say, my friend, I apologize for all of that craziness that just occurred, but are you well? Can we do anything for you in addition to... can we do anything for you?
He is just sort of real shaky at this point, and he sort of shakes his head and he says, just maybe some water might be useful.
I'll grab him some water.
Great. And he sort of takes, a few sips and is able to center himself a bit. And he says, "What on earth were those things?"
Near as I could say, they were zombies of some sorts, although they're not like anything I've ever seen before exactly. Whatever they were, their unique creation might be some clue as to their creator.
He says they were awful, and why were they here? What were they here just to pick up Mother's hands? Why did they attack us? I don't understand any of what is happening.
It is okay. We are here to help. We will find the answers to those questions. And you don't need to trouble yourself any more than you wish to or need to. Just know that we will take care of it. It is why we are here.
He sort of nods shakily and he says, "Well, I thank you. Do you think it's safe for me to remain here? Should I go elsewhere? I can't leave Mother here at the moment, and tomorrow is meant to be her service, and I don't know what to do."
Zafir will look at everyone else kind of questioningly, but depending on what their reactions are, he'll just say, "I suppose some of us could stay here. I would hate for anything to happen after all the trouble we went through."
He says, I would certainly don't want to keep you from your investigation into what's happening, but I would feel a bit better either if someone were here to watch over things. I obviously am not great in a fight.
No, most definitely. We will sort that out. We'll do what is necessary.
I'm going to go inside for now. I will let you all have a chance to discuss strategy or whatever it is that capable individuals like all of you do. But I'll be inside.
Very well.
All right. And he sort of gets up very shakily and takes a few sort of very unsteady steps, and then is able to take a deep breath and head inside, going around back, not obviously averting his gaze from the front, what is left on the front steps.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew. Zenda wants to know, Zafir, did you find anything on the bodies? Did you notice anything?
Nothing of immediate consequence, although, as I mentioned to Ren, the creation of these things, the composition, is curious. Seems to have a lot of straw placed in there, which is unusual, I believe, and some electric energy that seems to be running through them, or it was.
So I've never seen anything like this before, but is this something that you think would come from somebody who has been doing this for a while? Does it seem sort of amateur?
Perhaps. It's different, and if magic is one thing, it tends to be rote. So people who do something differently are either trying to put their personal stamp on things, or trying to make do
Mm.
with lesser things. Although these things certainly seem to be more potent than most creatures. Um, hmm. Do we have anyone who is an expert on the undead, whether amongst us or in town?
In terms of in town, I mean, there are a few sort of priests of various gods, maybe, that have sort of come in the last 6 months, but none of them have any sort of. I mean, they're, you know, pastors and priests, not clerics and paladins, so not really.
I certainly am not proficient in the undead.
Merrick did study that in that shack for a while and like research like lichdom and like.
That's true. You of your crew, you probably know the most, although it's mostly like higher level undead stuff. But you might be able to extrapolate some stuff about zombies and things like that. Yeah. You want to make? Well, what are we trying to figure out exactly?
Zenda's really curious about like if this is sort of an amateur job or something, like maybe somebody who's just trying this out for the first time.
Gotcha.
Or if they're trying to like mess with something that's already been created, like if anyone in town has noticed anybody that's maybe distanced themselves recently or has always sort of been on the outskirts of town.
Sure,
or on the outskirts of the community.
All right, Merrick, why don't you make me an intelligence arcana check?
Merrick's not with them right now.
Oh, where's Merrick?
Merrick's still at the front door.
Oh, that's right. Going.
Oh, Merrick's in it. Yeah.
They're still going.
How bad was that roll? Was it a natural 1?
It was a 2.
Okay.
But Merrick is like probably covered in gore at this point, still going through these bodies trying to find something.
Absolutely
Merrick's
horrifying. Why don't
Mm-hmm.
you make me, since you're still over there, and because it wasn't a natural 1, why don't you make me an intelligence arcana check with disadvantage, because that didn't go well, and you're getting a little frantic, so focused concentration is difficult.
15.
Better. Okay, so you sort of discover some of this. You're able to eventually dig down into these things deep enough to sort of figure out some of the same things that Zephyr figured out, which is that, you know, this isn't typical necromancy. There is necromancy involved, but it's odd somehow. And I think as a practitioner, as a wizard, as like an arcane studies person, I think you also just sort of can, in response to Zenda's question, although you didn't hear Zenda's question, but at some point I'm sure she'll ask you, so this is the answer. It's the construction of the creatures was pretty amateurish. Clearly, this is not really like a doctor or a seamstress or something like that. Like, the actual physical construction was not good. But the creativity with which the magic that was used to animate these things was applied suggests that they are not an amateur at magic.
Okay.
Zenda, you also had questions about, like, if folks have withdrawn in town and things like that, right? Why don't you make me... Gosh, let's see... What do we want to call that? Again, gather information. I sort of miss it. But why don't we call it... let's call it a wisdom insight.
Wisdom insight plus
Yes.
1.
You are the wisest in the party.
What's that? The wisest in the party. Yes, as we discussed last week, wisdom is not our... Apparently was, well, not quite our dump stat, but definitely not our strong point. All right, so a 14. There's just been, like, it's hard to tell. You know, there were... You alls were have only been there 6 months, have just started getting to know folks. You know, you're not entirely sure about what is normal behavior for everyone in town. What you have sort of noticed generally is that, like, the folks who you see regularly and who are sort of based in the center of town, and whose houses and farms are sort of within, like, the centrally knit part of the community, you haven't noticed anything different about them and their behaviors and their patterns lately. What's harder to sort of get a grasp on are the folks who live in sort of the nicer, bigger tracts of land, bigger houses that are sort of more on the outskirts of town. They don't come into town very often. Some of the town center folks barely even really consider them part of Brenton because they're very rarely seen. So it's just hard to tell if anything has changed about them because you just don't interact with them very often. One of those people includes old lady Lisa or old lady Liza, like that sort of thing. Like they just don't come in very often. People think they're weird and creepy, and you all have had interactions with old lady Liza and realize that she's just an old lady. Like the people in town think she's weird and creepy because they don't know much about her. So it's really hard to tell.
Okay. Zenda's pondering some things, and it tends to just not trust a whole lot of people, just in general.
Sure.
And is formulating. Great.
I love it. Anybody else? How do we proceed? What do we do next?
I think after a while, Merrick will approach the rest of the group, just covered in this ick and blood, and just like blank stares at them. I have searched every inch of those corpses, and there is nothing. No leads, no scrap of fabric, no piece of witchcraft that could be laced back to anyone. Nothing.
Well,
Zenda leans over to Lambeau and says, "They're losing it."
I have an idea. If you're willing to try it, it will require us splitting up and will be potentially dangerous. But these zombies were not discreet. It's very likely that they left some kind of tracks.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Then we will very likely at least find some information. Maybe not all of what we're looking for, but some.
Yeah, I would love to find some tracks and follow the tracks. Which direction did they come from?
They came by our tree, but I don't remember which.
I believe that was sort of to the east. To be honest, I don't remember because I don't have my map of Brenton up at the moment. But I believe it was sort of towards the east. But you all can sort of, you know where they came from. You all can go over there and look for tracks if you would like. So anybody who wants to go look for tracks from these things, go ahead and make wisdom survival checks. Y'all. Every time I call for a wisdom check, I'm like, oh, well.
Every time. It's like...
I'm trained in survival.
Are you really?
Yes.
Wisdom survival, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are. All right. Let's see.
Oh, pretty good, Lambeau.
All right, Lambeau.
+0.
Merrick,
I think I'm staying.
All right, so we got a 15 and 8. What did Merrick get?
16.
16, and did we get one from Zenda? Oh, yes, we did. Zenda got an 8. And what did...
Zafir staying behind.
Zafir staying behind. Got it. All right, well, Zenda can't find shit.
Nope.
But...
No, not our healer. I mean, yes. Stay behind.
Lambeau and Merrick both find, pretty hard to miss Zenda tracks. Because they're very obviously belong to these things because they have that sort of distinct, like, shuffling drag. Like, they're not just individual footprints, but you can see sort of where they've kicked up the soil. So yeah, you can definitely see where they came in from and sort of see how it heads deeper into the forest and out of your view.
So as soon as someone mentions, like, oh, we can follow their tracks, Merrick, who didn't realize this at first, just, like, points to it and just starts walking.
Oh my god. Merrick is going through something right now, y'all.
Merrick,
we have a lead. We're not gonna let it go. Come on.
Should we go get
no,
Zafir?
I think Zafir intends to stay with Rian.
Okay.
Left over on us, as it were. I guess we should go try and make sure Merrick doesn't die.
Yeah, they're going through something. I kind of want to. Do you think they'll tell us?
I never count on information from Merrick. Really.
They are gonna like me, so help me.
I admire your spirit.
I love it. All right, so the three of you head off down that path. Zephyr, taking care of Ren, keeping an eye out on Ren. Anything in particular that you are also hoping to accomplish now that the rest of your party is out of the way? I put that way more darkly than I intended. I apologize. It's not what I meant.
Or was it?
Or was it, right? Yeah.
No, Zephyr is nervous. He doesn't want to leave Ren in case something comes and steals him away in the night, which is more likely now, I guess. But he's doing his best to try and clean up this mess of corpses. It's curious, but he actually wants to be outside cleaning up corpses more than he wants to be inside.
Totally. Yeah. There's plenty to do after Merrick went to town on those two things on the front porch. So
Zephyr might be digging some makeshift graves.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Zephyr's really going in here, and is working on that. The other three of you, this trail leads deeper and deeper into the woods, heading east, sort of towards the outskirts of town. Let me just have, it's pretty low DC, but let me just have all of you make, let's call it intelligence history checks. Just to see if you sort of know the geography and the layout of the town well enough to sort of get an idea of where you're headed. Oh, Miss Zenda got a natural one. So did Miss Lambeau. You have no effing clue where you're going.
Well, Merrick is laser focused because they got a 23.
Yes. All right. So the two of
they're using all the luck.
Exactly. They're also like you, Lambeau and Zenda, like are clearly, a little, maybe concerned is too strong a word, particularly for Lambeau, but like they know something's up with Merrick, so they're more focused on Merrick than they are on where exactly you're headed. Merrick, however, like you said, laser focused. You continue down this path, following this trail through the woods towards the edge of town, and Merrick, you sort of keep an eye on your bearings and where you're headed, and you realize that you are headed in the general direction of one of those sort of outskirty people of Brenton's home. You're headed towards the home of Felix Ovid, who is relatively new to Brenton. He got there actually not long after you all did. Moved into sort of one of the empty houses on the edge of town, has built it up a little bit, made it quite fancy. You don't really know much about him. You think he is from the city of Irongate. He's a dwarf, I should also mention, from the city of Irongate, but beyond that, you don't really know a ton about him. But as you continue to follow this path, it becomes more and more obvious to you, Merrick, that it is indeed leading to his property. Now, where it might lead from there, you're not sure. Because at this point, you all have been following the trail for probably a good 15, 20 minutes, and have just sort of reached the outskirts of Felix's property.
This is the home of Felix Ovid.
They announce all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Zenda, having been deep in conversation with Lambeau about Merrick, runs right into Merrick to tell him, right into the backside of them.
Please watch where you're going.
Shit, you could have warned me, dang.
I said this is the home of Felix Ovid, did I not?
You didn't tell me you were stopped. It doesn't matter. Who? Felix? Oh, Felix.
Oh yeah, I remember. Didn't he get here not long after us, or about the same time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're so chatty. All right.
Do the tracks all the way?
So at the edge of the property, it looks like they sort of go around. From what you can see, they go a little bit around the house and sort of curve around towards the back of the house, and then you lose sight of them from where you are now.
Okay. Well, it looks like they didn't start here, at least. They just went by here. Are you thinking he might have heard something? I think, was Felix? Or was he or she? He, okay. Are you thinking he might have saw something?
Saw something. I assume he created these things.
But they don't start here. They go past his place.
Would you create flesh golems in your home, or would you create them behind your home?
Now,
Depends on where
Merrick.
the supplies are, and we're not done investigating. Why must you jump to conclusions? Are you in a hurry?
I'm
No,
not.
they say about assuming. Senda says as she walks up to the front door and knocks.
Well,
Zenda,
decision made.
please. Please don't knock Zenda. If Felix is capable of creating flesh skulls, we don't know what else he is capable of.
It's also like 3 a.m, for the record.
It's also very early.
She
Why
pauses
don't we
and drops her hand.
Why don't we continue to follow the trail?
Like, we could also do some aerial reconnaissance.
Well, you've been walking this whole time, so I wasn't sure Lazarus wanted to.
Merrick holds up their wand, and
It's that wand. Every time you pull out that wand, my camera freezes.
and
Burn
how
the
many?
witch!
Sorry, I just like... That's my connection. That's all I can figure out. It's the damn wand.
And sorry, shit. They pulled it up and they like raise it up into the sky, and then from the tip of it, like it starts like smoldering and like smoke, like a little trail of smoke comes, and then Lazarus starts like climbing out of it. And then after Lazarus climbs out, and then another one climbs out, and then there's 3 Lazarus that climb out. And Merrick says, "Lazarus is many."
Only you can understand Lazarus, right?
Yes.
But I think we determined, like, in the very first session that Lazarus does, in fact, talk, doesn't he? Didn't he talk to you? Am I imagining something different?
I thought we established that Lazarus could get across a communication with, like, images and stuff.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't actually talk. I don't know why I had him have a voice in my head. All right, great.
He can, like, people can talk to him and he can understand things,
Right.
but then he can, like, convey to Merrick.
Got it.
Because Merrick can see through that.
Well, as Merrick is aware, Lazarus hates it when you cast this spell, because it's very disorienting to see himself in 2 other places.
So I just casted Flock of Familiars. And then I'm going to send 1 to circle and, like, look through, like, the windows of the house. And then 2 to go down the trail and follow the tracks.
Got it. All right, so let's start with the one that's sort of circling and looking in windows. There it is. So first of all, the house is 3 stories tall, I believe, if this would load. Well, it's actually 4 stories tall. Sorry, the house is 4 stories tall. And so, do you want this Lazarus to start at the top or the bottom and circle up or down?
Bottom, circle up.
All right. So as this Lazarus looks in the various windows on the first and the second floor, it's all dark inside, no lights anywhere, and it looks, he sees a dining room and he sees a kitchen area. No, there's no windows in the kitchen. Just kidding. Sees a dining room area, sees a sort of sitting room library up on the second floor, sees a sort of conservatory where there's a harpsichord in one room on the second floor. Nothing terribly out of the ordinary in any of these rooms. He continues on up, and on the third floor, there are a few fewer windows. They seem to look into bedrooms. But it's extremely dark. It is still extremely dark in all of these bedrooms. The fourth floor, the attic, has no windows. Or the top floor, it's not really an attic. But anyway, it has no windows up there, so he's unable to see into any of those. I suppose he did see Felix in one of the bedrooms up on the third floor. That was sort of the most significant thing that he saw. The other 2 were going where?
They're following the trail of the golems.
Got it. So let me have them make wisdom survival checks, please.
1 for each, or just a combined?
No, I'll take 1 for each, just in case one of them biffs it. It's basically advantage.
A 16 and a 6.
Okay, so one of them biffed it, but that's all right. So one of them is able to keep an eye on the trail as it goes around the back of the house, and sort of leads a little ways off from the main portion of the house. There's sort of it's a tiny looking, almost outhouse looking shed, sort of on the corner of the cleared area behind the house, and the tracks seem to lead there and go inside. So the the familiars, the Lazari, sort of lose sight of the tracks after that.
So I've been narrating everything to Lambeau and Zenda this entire time, just like very methodically and very clinically stating everything that they see through Lazarus. And then once they find the shack, all three of them are going to go to the shack and start making a circle of crows above it.
Yes, absolutely. So there they are, making that shack of crows.
It's a murder circle.
It's a murder circle.
They're my favorite types of circles.
Love a murder circle.
Back at the house, we made another murder circle.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Do we go to the shack and investigate first, or do we confront Felix first?
Well, why don't we go to the shack if you're so concerned that he is in fact a practitioner? Perhaps we should not wake him and alert him that we are onto him.
Good idea. And Merrick starts walking.
Zenda's just standing there with her mouth open, like something's going on. Something's going on with them. That's all she's thinking about.
Come on, Zenda. Let's go.
She just in case, just pulls out the rapier just to have just on hand in case anything goes down.
All right. So you all head to this shed where there is the murder circle, which is now my favorite thing.
Magic trap.
And it looks, I mean, like I said, it looks sort of like an outhouse. Like, it's pretty small, probably could only fit one of you at a time. And you see very clearly that the tracks lead right up to it. Somebody opening the door? What are we doing here?
Well, Merrick's in the front, so go for it, buddy.
Let's go in the house without our fourth party member / our healer.
I know, I'm concerned.
Listen, he made his choice. Ohana does not mean family.
What does it mean?
It means fuck off, let's go.
That's exactly what I was expecting. Excellent.
Now, to be clear, we are all kind of tired at this point. We know where this is. Perhaps we should come back tomorrow. We can do it at night again, whatever. But we are running closer to empty, or at least some of us are. I don't know where you are, oh esteemed arcane person.
We've already taken care of 3 flesh golems. I doubt there is much more here besides Felix himself, or whoever it is causing this problem.
They've been doing this for months. Do you really think that's the only thing they have at their disposal if it is in fact Felix?
It doesn't hurt to investigate further. If we need to turn around, we can, but for now I want to see more. An outhouse is not enough information.
Then you go open that door. See how much
Gladly.
it doesn't hurt you.
Does the door seem trapped?
You can certainly make an intelligence investigation check.
Seems fine.
That would
Yeah,
be a
totally.
22.
Oh, it's real trapped, yes. You see the nearly invisible outline of a glyph of warding on this door.
Would I be able to know what the glyph of warding does?
You maybe an intelligence arcana check to determine its particular effect, yes.
14.
It'll blow up.
Did you say it's a string, or did you say it's just the glyph of warding?
No, just the glyph of warding.
Okay, for some reason I was imagining a string leading to it. I was like, that's not how glyph of wardings work.
Oh, no.
It's a string leading to a glyph. Just...
How do you know? You don't know his life.
Maybe he got creative.
Uh-huh.
Will we be able to go around the glyph? Or is it...
No, if you open, you can very clearly see with that check that if you open the door, the glyph will go off. It's basically on the door in such a way that, like, if the door is opened, it'll go off.
There is a glyph right there. We can set it off from afar, but it will cause a noise.
Oh, I thought you said investigating wouldn't harm us any further.
I said it doesn't hurt to look and see more. If we had turned around now, we may have never caught the glyph of warding.
I'd never said we wouldn't come back. But whatever, you spotted it and didn't blow yourself up. Good for you.
Listen,
I am.
we are a team.
Are we? You don't act like it.
I am trying to get things done.
By yourself instead of with the team. It doesn't hurt to consult with people.
I'm consulting right now, am I not?
Before you were not, you just started walking and expected us to follow.
I didn't say you had to follow. You chose to.
So you decided to leave the team behind.
And you chose to follow.
Because we actually believe in teamwork.
I'm asking for your advice.
Is there brimstone in the air? All right, now serious, Merrick. I'm glad you spotted it. I do think we should come here as a full team because between us, if there's anything else in there and we get injured, we're kind of out of luck. It's important that I think Zafir know about this, so he's aware.
I'm concerned if we let Felix go, and tomorrow morning he wakes up and realizes there are no hands and feet in his possession, and his flesh golems have been destroyed, he will be suspicious. He will be expecting us. Currently, he is sleeping while we are in his supposed laboratory outside its door. We have the advantage here. If we go and come back, he has the advantage of being prepared for us.
That's a fair point. Would you be open to sending Lazarus with a note to let Zephyr know what we have discovered? Because he's currently outside of my mental range.
Gladly.
Zephyr is currently enacting a plan so that he can join the group, but he is summoning 4 giant badgers.
Are they to dig for you?
I like
Yeah.
it.
And protect Ren.
Oh, I love it.
I love everything about it. The order in which it was told to us. I'm enacting a plan to get to you all. Also, I'm summoning badgers, which to me means that you're going to construct a sledge pulled by 4 giant badgers to get to the party.
What is he, Radagast?
That sounds amazing. Though.
Yes. Yes. Excellent
Yeah.
reference, Lambeau.
Merrick's going to send their murder circle over. 2 of them are going to go to Zephyr and find him.
Mhm.
One of them's going to perch outside of Felix's window and just watch.
Okay. So those two birds head over back towards Ren's house and Zephyr, and Zephyr, let's say that you have indeed summoned the badgers. What do these birds see as they get a little closer?
So I've got 3 of the badgers working to dig graves. I'm not going to put it super close to the house because that would be creepy. But
Thank you.
they're gonna dig graves off in the middle of nowhere, and then drag all of these bodies and bits and parts or whatever, and I'll help get them like maybe in a sack. I don't know. But then one of the badgers is gonna stay with Ren, like right next to him,
Okay.
and make sure that he's okay,
In the house.
and in the house if necessary.
Got it.
Or whatever that ends up being. And when the other badgers are done, then they will then reconvene with the first badger and protect Ren. So he's gonna have 4 giant badgers, making sure he's okay for the next hour.
Okay. Great. I love that. Ren is very confused at first. I mean, he knows that you sent them. Presumably, you said something to him. You seem
yeah,
the thoughtful
absolutely.
type to not just send 4 badgers
Walk
in the
in
house.
with the badger. This will be your badger for the evening.
And they sort of circle around him, and he sort of snuggles up into a bed of badgers. Yeah, all right. So the birds, I think, see the 4 badgers sort of heading into the house with Zephyr, and wait patiently, presumably, until he comes back out. And so Zephyr, you spot, you don't know there's 3 of them, so you spot Lazarus, basically, just sort of waiting for you outside the house when you come back out.
There's 2 of them flanking the doorway.
Oh, 2 of them. So you do see 2 Lazari.
Oh, curious. Well then, I suppose I am being summoned as I had expected.
one of them perches on your shoulder, and the other one starts to like fly down the path and like lead you, while the other one's like poking you and like pulling your shirt and just like, come on, let's go.
Oh man.
These are like Cinderella birds.
Yes, except
But
bigger and darker.
yes, yeah, I will definitely follow.
Excellent.
Cinderella birds are black crows with red eyes.
Right. Yeah. This is the same thing. Excellent. All right. So Zephyr is going to follow them. It is going to take him a little while to get to you all. You know, it probably took you all 20, 25 minutes to get all the way to the house. What are the other three of you doing while you wait for your fourth party member?
Good question. I guess because there's still the one raven that's staying there. That's well, sorry, was the last raven still circling above the shack, or were they still at the window watching Orbit?
The last one's watching Orbit.
Okay, all right. In that case, yep.
I mean, that's fine. You all can just wait patiently or otherwise for him to arrive. That's not a problem.
Yeah, no.
So...
I'm literally imagining like the Hank Hill, like us posted against the rock. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I love that. I love that. All right, so Zephyr, eventually arrives. It's probably almost 4 a.m. at this point. So, dawn will begin in another hour and a half or so. What are you all doing now that you're all together? Zephyr, you are there. You see... I don't know how much you would have noticed the tracks. That's up to you if you wanted to actually realize that you were following tracks all the way here. But you see your crew hanging out in the backyard of this big old manor, sort of near this outhouse shed.
Well, I'm glad that you waited for me. I'm sorry that I kept you. Did you find anything?
Merrick did in fact find some things. It appears that the zombies came from the shack back here at Felix Olvig's place. There's a glyph on the door that will blow up if we open it. So we may have found our necromancer? Maybe. We'll see.
Very well, we shall investigate then, but I suppose there's the question of the door.
We can set it off from afar. I just don't know if there's anyone else who can help do that discreetly or less explosively.
Well, I can't recall if scratching out the glyph will disrupt it, or if that only works with circles. I actually don't remember.
I mean, Merrick, I think your check was high enough to sort of understand how glyphs of warding work. You would need to dispel it if you want to get rid of it without setting it off.
So if anyone has dispel or like a silence, so we can set it off quietly.
I'm out of this one. I'm away.
Yeah, Zenda, you're like, they're talking magic.
I'm just drawing in the dirt with my sword.
Regrettably not, though. I wonder if we could perhaps enter through a window instead.
Ooh, that I can help with.
That you can help with, yes.
Are there windows to this?
To the shed, no.
Oh.
Oh, the shed is the one protected.
Yes,
Yeah.
the shed, not the house. Yes, the shed.
Oh, so I don't know. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can do shenanigans. But that sounds good. Keep doing that.
So my go-to is to back up and to hit it with a mage hand to be like, smack.
Well, I was thinking get about 60 feet away and knock on that door.
That too?
The spell knock, not physically.
Yeah. That still doesn't take care of our glyph of warding.
Very
though.
long arm.
Yeah, but at least we won't be near it when it blows up. Is the
Yeah.
Right, because like the spell will actually open the door, will it not? And then the
Yes,
thing
it
will
will.
go off. Yeah, and then 60 feet is perfect. It's a great distance.
Thunder
we
raises
can
her
grab the
hand.
window first.
Yes, Denda.
If we blow up the door, doesn't that mean the whole thing is gonna blow up? So whatever information that we could find inside will be no more?
That's a good point. It's an awful small space.
It's a tiny shack. I mean, this is out of my area of expertise. I'm gonna step 60 feet back and let you guys handle it. Just thought I'd chime in and ask some questions. Okay, carry on.
If I were the one who created this shack, I would have created a glyph that was only for keeping people out. It wouldn't destroy my work. So I am banking on that being the case.
Unless they wish to destroy evidence.
Also possible, but if you have worked this hard to develop a place where you can practice in peace, then I doubt you'd want it to be destroyed.
We are also still assuming that it is in fact Ovid and not somebody else clearly framing him by putting the shack here.
Also possible, but Ovid is our best guess at this point, and that's why I have one of my Lazarus on them.
Lazarus. Sure, all right, fair enough.
Would you like to knock?
Sure. Let's go ahead and get that knocking going.
Okay,
That
so
is
you all... What's that, Zenda?
Is already 60 feet back. She's
Yeah.
been back there for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna propose Lazarati for the plural of Lazarus.
Yes.
Lazarati!
Yes. I mean, we should check in with their owner. Merrick, how do we feel about Lazarati?
You know what? Let's go for
Yes.
The Lazarati.
Amazing. All right. So
So
you
it
all
is-
back way the hell back.
Yep, 60 feet.
Yep.
Lambo at least has to stay within 60 feet.
Right, sure.
And as it goes, knock, knock, it's time to Sherlock. Knock spell.
That is absolutely her verbal component for this spell.
Yes!
It is canon, done and dusted. It's happening, and I love it. If I didn't really like my title for this episode already, name it that. All right. So Lambeau says her incantation, and a couple of things happen in rapid succession. One, you hear this extremely loud knocking sound, emanate from the door. Almost immediately afterwards, the door swings open, and this incredible blast of what you all recognize not as a fire explosion, but instead as a thunder explosion, as if to sort of maximize sound, goes off. Merrick, the Lazarus keeping an eye on Felix up in his bedroom, he sits bolt upright in his bed, looks around frantically, and runs to a window that sort of overlooks, runs towards a window that overlooks sort of a corner of the backyard. You don't actually think he'll be able to see you all since you've backed up so far from the outhouse, but he will be able to see the outhouse. And he gets to the window and sort of stares out there wide-eyed for a moment and then takes off running, throws on a dressing gown, runs out of the bedroom, and that one of the three Lazarati loses sight of Felix.
I'm gonna have the other two go and try to find him as I turn to the group. Felix is on his way. He looked very concerned at that noise. I suggest we hide in the brushes and try to make it look like an incident. I will send a Lazarati to play dead.
A Lazarus works fine.
A Lazarus to play dead on the ground next to the glyph. So I'm gonna send one of my Lazarus to lay and just play dead next to the glyph.
Okay, clever. I like it. Okay.
While the
Agreed.
other two flock around, try to find and flock around Felix.
All right, let's have from each of the two searching Lazarati, let's have let's call it wisdom perception checks from the two of them. What are the rest of you doing while these Lazarati are searching for him?
Pass without a trace.
Excellent. And hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sort of let's create the fiction of what this backyard looks like together. You tell me, like, what are you hiding near, in, or you're just standing out in the middle of the road with the pass without trace, hoping that it hides you well enough? What's the plan here?
I'm assuming there's still some amount of trees, obviously not right up against it, but, you know, close enough so we could, get there and sort
Yeah,
of-
absolutely. In fact, I think he has, there aren't enough trees to be an orchard, but I think this backyard is fairly large, and he's got some nice shade trees planted in the backyard somewhere. Great. Okay, so you all are sort of just hiding behind trunks over there. Let me have everybody that is hiding and is going to stay within 30 feet of Lambeau make dexterity stealth checks with a +10 to in addition to whatever your bonus already is. And Merrick, what were those wisdom perception checks?
7 and 17.
Okay. So they're both having to sort of, go in opposite directions and keep an eye. One Lazarus finds Felix, and he, from what this Lazarus can tell, and he can't keep constant view of him because he got to keep searching, but it looks like he's heading down. Felix seems to be heading down towards the first floor as of this point, and we'll sort of keep glimpses of him as you all continue to hide. Is anyone not hiding with Lambeau? Great. So let's have those dexterity stealth checks. Let's see. Lambeau, what'd you get? We'll start with you.
23.
Excellent. And Zephyr?
27.
All right. And Zenda?
31?
31. Yes, that is correct. Excellent. Merrick, how about you?
14.
With a +10?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
Great.
So Merrick is... What is Merrick wearing tonight?
They're basic black robes, but I feel like they are distracted because they're switching between 3 different Lazarus
Sure.
to try to find and do all this. They're multitasking.
Yeah, right. So they're they've got bits sticking out, and you can't help but as you're switching between Lazarati, you can't help but sort of move around as if that's going to help you see better through their eyes or make them do anything, but you can't help it. So you're you're not really remaining very still in this situation. All right, yeah. Excellent. All right, so as the Lazarus who managed to catch sight of Felix continues to follow him as best they can through the house, eventually they get down... Let me see, I need my map of the house. Eventually he gets down to the first floor, and the Lazarus sort of loses sight of him for a moment. He basically saw him running... through this there must be a sort of central staircase in the house that doesn't have any windows by it, but the Lazarus did catch sight of him very briefly through a window in a sort of room that looks like a hunting lodge almost. There are a couple of stuffed wolves in the room, and it's all very strange, but as the Lazarus tried to go and look to get a better look, by the time this Lazarus moved to another window looking in this same room, Felix was gone.
I have lost sight on Felix.
We'll say the other Lazarus was sort of after it lost Felix, sort of went to the front door to just keep an eye in case he came out that way. But that Lazarus also sees no sign of him.
I suspect that he has gone invisible. Just stay quiet and let's see what happens.
Lambeau sort of telepathically be if you got something to say, just think it. I got it.
I think you were muted. Okay, you're doing it on purpose. You're being a pain about it. Got it. I was he's making it funny. I get it. All right, so you all just staying... Are you all just staying put for now? So,
yeah, for now.
So about 5 minutes pass, and there's no sign of Felix. 10 minutes pass if y'all are willing to wait that long.
After 5 minutes, I want to check the range on something.
Yeah.
Nope, never mind. I have to be able to see. Doesn't work. Cool.
Okay.
Have we met Orvid before?
I don't know. You all tell me. Have you? I mean, like I said, he's one of the outliers, so he doesn't really come into town very often. So if someone wants to tell me a reason that you have gone out to meet him, then I'll totally buy it, and I can't wait to hear that story.
How superstitious is he?
Oh, that's a good question. He's superstitious, but he's a dwarf, so his superstitions are weird and sort of not your typical Brentonese superstitions.
Was he worried about the future at any point? His fortune, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably so.
So perhaps he
So wait,
asked,
hold on. So you all are watching very slowly from the darkness. Well, except for Merrick, watching from the darkness. Minutes pass, and we sort of get that fuzzy dream sequence as Lambeau has a memory of when she first met Felix Ovid. All right, so tell me about it, Lambeau.
Oh yeah, so I imagine, Ovid, not somebody we knew all that well, but maybe when we were first there, occasionally he'd be at the bar or something. We were there,
Sure.
and maybe so after that first hypochondriac, when Lambeau was more settled into her fortune telling business, she met Mr. Orvid, who dwarf, still seemed, stout and just kind of regular, but he was curious about let's see, there's an orchard. He was curious about if there was going to be. He was worried about an infestation in his orchard.
Yeah, absolutely, he was.
Kind of like, or what's he got to do? Best way to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I imagine she, doing her typical like, oh, I'm mysterious and also I'm detecting thoughts.
Yeah.
In the image from it, I think, and she probably actually consulted with Minnie Faye about like different herb stuff to try and help with, try and figure out different herbs and stuff. So she suggested something to kind of help with it,
Absolutely.
and perhaps later on, just in case, just kind of like had her magic mystery dog with his outfit on to like kind of like protect the trees for a bit in case somebody was messing with it.
Okay. All right, I love it. I will say the dog really loved going over there to guard the trees. Like, always just such a happy pupper when it would come back. And it, like, took some effort to get it to leave. And you, like, you're not really sure why, but, like, for whatever reason, it loved it out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good to know. I mean, that dog's not really trained anyway, so Lambeau.
Right, exactly. So it's hard to tell if it's, like, being a pain or just like, yeah, but anyway.
Yep.
All right, great. So yes, so absolutely you have, so we crossfade shimmery back from the dream sequence as Lambeau has an idea, I assume.
Right. Yeah, she has an idea. So mentally to everybody else, she's like, well, perhaps what if we pretend that we were out investigating and heard the noise and we try and contact him? I can try and contact him mentally, be like, oh, hey, Orvid, are you okay? If I can try and see if he's in the range, so I have a reason for looking for him, considering, because it was a very loud sound, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So perhaps I could play the concerned neighbor-ish person.
You can play that role. I cannot.
Ha!
So
know thy strengths.
I can send my Lazarati down to inside the outhouse as to continue to cover a flock of crows happen to set off this alarm, and perhaps do a little more recon down there.
All right, seems reasonable. I think, well, if we're going to stick with that story, perhaps I should actually break my cover to show concern and such. Does that seem reasonable to everybody?
Take Zephyr with you.
I'm gonna stay up in the tree and I'll stay locked and loaded.
Yeah,
all
like
right.
let's not have everybody leave. But yeah, so me and Zephyr, well, I guess try and coordinate. So it looks like we're out searching, like, and I think maybe Zephyr you can be calling out like verbally, and Lambeau's mentally trying to.
Yeah, I imagine Zephyr's probably like, "Hello, is everything all right?"
Orvid, are you okay?
And are you all sort of, you're sticking in the backyard to do this? Are you going around the front of the house? You just
We're going around to the front.
Going around to the front of the house.
Front.
Excellent. Okay.
That
Excellent.
seems a little bit more plausible.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So going around to the front of the house, and you're calling out. Let's see. He does not. You get no response after a few minutes of calling after him.
If Lambeau does any, can she do any sort of mental probe? Because for that, she doesn't have to see people. Yeah.
Totally. Give me a second. Let me see. What's the 30 feet? Is it?
I believe my telepathy's 30.
Okay.
I believe so. Actually, it's 60 now because we're level 6.
Okay, so 60 then. Yes, you can get a response from that. So what are you saying telepathically? Same thing?
Yeah, telepathically the same thing. Like, hey, Orvid, are you okay?
And you hear this sort of, who is this?
Oh, it's Lambeau. We heard we were doing some work not far off, and we heard a real loud sound, and we wanted to make sure you're okay. No one was answering. We were calling out.
Oh, yes, I am. I was in bed. The sound startled me as well. But I have investigated, and it seems it was nothing. I appreciate the concern, but I am fine. Thank you. It is awfully late in the night. Perhaps you should get home and get some rest.
All right. Are you sure you're okay? You
Oh,
don't need help with anything?
Absolutely, it was nothing. A minor malfunction in the basement. It was nothing.
Basement, huh? She doesn't say that part to him.
Sure.
Just to clarify.
Sure.
Well, all right. If you decide you need help, please let us know. And yeah, the American Zenda, are welcome. I remember.
Yes, absolutely. You are so kind to offer it. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Good night.
And so now just to like Zephyr mentally, she's gonna be like, he apparently was in a basement, and that's why he wasn't answering us, and we definitely need to find a way to get in there and investigate. Perhaps the basement is connected to the outhouse somehow, because that does seem awfully suspicious.
It certainly does.
I have sent 2 crows down
2 crows down where?
into the outhouse.
Oh, right. Right, so let's do that momentarily. So
Sure.
those crows go into the outhouse, and the outhouse is basically like, from what you can see, it was basically just built on top of a staircase, a stone staircase leading down into the earth. And as the crows sort of go down, they very quickly they get to sort of the bottom of this stairs, and there is a door that is slightly ajar at the bottom of this staircase. Would they? First of all, the crows have dark vision,
right? Sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Let's see. Their crows are. I think it's Raven stat block is what we decided on.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. I can't imagine that they don't, but maybe they don't. Let's find out.
Crows are out at night.
Right,
sure.
that's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they don't actually have dark vision, though.
Maybe
you
a
have
crow
dark
or a
vision.
Raven doesn't.
I
But you
do.
have dark vision, and you get to. Do you get to keep your senses when you?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So it's very dark down there. They can get to the bottom of the stairs and see that there is a door just from the light, like the moonlight streaming in from the open outhouse door. But beyond the door that is slightly ajar, it's pitch black, and you get the sense that you really won't be able to see much down there.
Okay.
What would you like them to do?
Come back.
Okay. So back they come. Ga, 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 ga.
I guess, again, let's pretend we were all in this conversation with Limbo mentally.
Yeah,
anyway.
totally.
It'll be like, she'll ask, what, she'll say what she discovered from what, or Felix told her, and then ask, what the Lazarus saw, assuming that Mary told her about it.
Sure.
So she's like, all right, well then, again, mentally, like, what do we want to do? He's awake now. He knows. He knows me and Zephyr are here, but not you two.
Do we wait longer and hope that he goes back to bed and then go down, or do we go down now?
I can't see if we go anywhere.
We could corner him if some of us broke into his house and went down and found his basement, and other 2 of us went down this way, because the 2 are clearly connected.
I'm down to break in.
I'm
I know
shocked
you
to
always
hear
are.
it.
That's why I suggested it.
Or do we wait until morning? Would it be safer to wait until morning, or do we not care? I don't really care. Who opposes?
Zephyr?
Those mental hands.
No, I say we do this post haste.
Right. So I think maybe Lambeau would go with, because Or do we want to split it where we have a dark vision person with someone who doesn't have it, or do we want to split it where Lambeau does it? She does the light cantrip, so Zinda has some sort of light, and split the team that way.
Who doesn't have dark vision? It's
Me and
Zenda
Zinda.
and yeah.
okay. So if I feel like that'd be the best call is to one of us go with the other.
Okay.
Um,
So where do we want our healer?
Can Zephyr do light?
yes.
So maybe Zephyr go with Zenda, and then Lambo come with me. So we have the
At least one person with dark vision
Ooh,
and one
that
person
pairing.
with light.
Ooh, that pairing.
Because Sue and Merrick have been arguing all day. Over it. She's over it.
I love it.
All right.
or actually, if Lambo and Zephyr go together, that way it's the two nice people going in through the house.
Oh,
Or
that's
no,
true.
that's-
Yeah,
no.
so the people he already knows they're going through the house while you two are sneaking to the outhouse.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Either way,
Uh-huh.
it will be a reduction in the arguments.
It's true. It's true.
It's-
All right. So Lambeau and Zephyr are going to the front door,
Mm-hmm.
and Zenda and Merrick are going through the outhouse.
Huh.
Okay, so the party splits and heads to those two doors. And I know we took a brief break earlier because of our technical difficulties, but I need some water and you all deserve a proper break where I'm not panicking about tech. So we're going to take a little short break. We will be back before too long. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll be back shortly to find out what truth the players find in the house of Felix Ovid. We'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for hanging out and waiting during that break, but we are back now with the Brenton Files Monsters and Myths here on the Greyhawk channel. Before we left, our players had decided to split the party yet again. This time by choice. I forced them into it in the last house. Now this house, they're deciding to do it on their own. Zenda and Merrick have gone around back, or stayed around back, I suppose, to investigate what is at the bottom of this mysterious staircase in this sort of outhouse shed. And and Zephyr have gone around front to play the concerned neighbors and investigate through the front door. We're going to start with the two of them heading to the front. What are the two of you doing? You're going to the front door, but are you trying to get in with or without Felix's notice?
That's a good question.
I thought so.
I'm going to say without.
All right. So you guys get to the front door, and what do you do?
Pretty sure this is why the rogue was here before.
Why the what was here before?
Rogue.
Oh, well.
You have a knock spell.
Choices were... Yes, and it's very loud.
Yeah, it's just like, that's not quiet. I'm going to know.
I'm going to just test the door to see if it's locked.
Okay, it is in fact locked. Amusing as it would have been for me to have left that door unlocked after all that conversation, it is in fact locked.
Well, shoot.
I seem to have stymied the two of them. Perhaps we should run around to the back while they figure out what to do.
That sounds...
It's just like, oh
So,
no, the door is locked.
Right, they both stand there
Locked
defeated
door,
by this...
my mortal nemesis.
Right, exactly. And crossfade. So we head to the back, where all of the doors are open, at least as far as we have seen. Zenda and Merrick, you all are heading down the stairs, yes? I mean, we know it's safe at least to the bottom of the stairs based on what your bird saw, Merrick. So to the bottom of the stairs you go. Are you being sneaky and quiet about it in any way?
Yes.
All
We're
right.
the sneaky, shady motherfuckers.
Are you?
Yeah.
You rolled a
I mean, I'm
15
definitely sneaky.
last time you had to roll stealth, and you had a plus
Sneaky.
10.
I'm shady.
All right.
Yes,
So let's have
Shady.
dexterity stealth rolls from the two of you, and unfortunately, Shady don't give you a bonus to stealth.
Dirty stealth. Oh.
Well, I rolled a 21, so...
Ooh, somebody's getting back.
I rolled a 22.
Shablam!
Just had to one up you, didn't she, Merrick? All right, so the two of you are very quietly heading down these. There's the toss. Very quietly heading down these stairs, and you. Oh my God, you two. And you get to the bottom of the stairs, and that door is in fact closed. Now, like I said, the moonlight is providing some light on this staircase, but Zenda, we know that once you get out of the moonlight, you ain't gonna see nothing. So what are we doing now that you're here at the bottom of the stairs?
Merrick, is it locked?
No, it's open.
No, it's literally ajar. Not all the way,
Oh.
but it's standing.
Are you
Great.
that blind?
I can't see anything. It's dark.
Well,
Shut up.
the two people who could help with that one went the other direction, so I think we split the party wrong.
Yeah, we did.
You know, I know how to
You're
unlock
so
doors.
worried about arguing.
No, that was Zephyr. Zephyr was worried about the argument.
I was worried about the argument. No, I wasn't. I didn't want to be a part of it. That's right. You're right.
This is amazing. So, okay, so let's just recap everything that's happened in the last 5 minutes. So Zephyr and Lambeau went to the front door and were met with their greatest foe, the locked door. Zenda and Merrick went downstairs and were met with Zenda's greatest foe, darkness.
Well, the best I can do is I can create a minor conjuration that does emit, that can emit light.
Or I could just hold on to the back of your robes and you can guide me.
Okay. Well, when I start attacking something, it'll make light.
I was going to say, that feels like it's going to be a problem if you run into anything, but for the moment, yes, you can do your minor conjuration. Hilarious.
I make a small little light bulb that just makes it light to 5 feet.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. It is, yeah, it's very dim, but it at least allows you to see the door, and know that it is there. Okay. Next.
I'm gonna look around through the door and see if there's any source of lights we can ignite.
All right, so you sort of peek through the door, and you see on the other side of the door, the very first thing that you are confronted with are 3 of those sewn together creatures, sort of standing in a bit of a like phalanx, right, maybe 10 feet, not even, more like 7 or 8 feet back from the door, facing the door. They don't seem to have seen you to this point. They apparently didn't react to the light. But, you know, if you open the door and step out, you'll be in full view of them.
Do they seem sentient at this point, or do they seem like works in progress?
Well, they're standing there. They're completely still, but they are standing there sort of freestanding. So if they're works in progress, they've been put just in the middle of the floor. In a line. Facing the door.
Hint, hint.
Don't be rude. That's my job.
Can't help it. Oh, you met Lambeau. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Lambeau's not there. She doesn't know.
That's
No,
right. That's right.
So, Zenda, we can't go this way. There are 3 more flesh golems here. What we can do is I can create another magic circle here just to hold them in place, and then we could go around to the other direction and try to go the other way.
Holds up 2 thumbs and hopes that you can see her.
I can see. So I'm gonna cast another magic circle around these 3. It takes a minute to cast.
All right. So, unfortunately, that means that while you're doing this for a minute, we have to jump back to the locked door.
And here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
I forgot. I got meta magic, so I can subtle spell my knock spell.
Which means that you don't have to use verbal or
Verbal
somatic
or
components,
somatic components.
but it's still going to make a big, loud knocking sound.
Because technically, it'll silence the casting of the spell, but not the actual spell.
But not the
itself.
effect of the spell.
It's not like the knocking sound is just you doing a tongue pop, and that's what's inside.
I do love that.
Could be.
It basically what it would do is it would cut out the best part of the knock spell, which is your verbal component.
Look.
Well,
I only have so many options.
let us go and meet once more with our companions. I believe perhaps if we were to switch places, we might be in a better spot.
Perhaps. So I guess we're headed towards the
Wah,
back.
wah, wah.
Good-
You Charlie Brown walk back.
It's like, hey guys, the door was locked, can't get through.
Good teams, wrong places, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all head back and around, and I feel like this decision Kate was probably come to pretty quickly. So are you all heading down the stairs? Because you see that they're not in the backyard anymore, and you know they
Yeah,
were
we'll
supposed to be.
head straight
All
down.
right, so you head down, and you see Merrick is sort of mid-casting of something. Zenda, you're aware of them. Merrick, you're focused on the casting, although you're probably aware that there's something going on behind you. But I don't know that you turn to look at this particular moment.
Zenda sees them coming down the stairs and goes,
Oh.
Oh, dear.
And
what
mentally,
is that?
Limbo will be like, what's going on? It's in your head.
Sounds like 3.
all right.
Nope. Zenda for sure is still pantomiming.
Yeah. Like 3, and you're like,
And then she realizes.
This Limbo just waits.
what are those things on the other side of the door? So he's gonna make them stay in that circle thing that he does.
Ah. All right. Then.
They.
Dave, sorry, Merrick.
who was not actually a part of that telepathic communication, but they still knew.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna let Merrick continue with finish up the casting.
Yeah.
All right, so
Pretty
Merrick
much.
finishes up that casting, and magic circle appears around these 3. Oops. There we go. Appears around these 3 creatures, and you all know that you are there is no danger of them anymore.
All right, let's go the other way again.
There's also no danger of Merrick casting any more 3rd level spells, but anyway.
Hey, don't put my business out there like that. That was my information out there.
I love it. All right, so you all open up the door into this basement cellar area, and these things immediately try to attack you, and just like the others, just bash up against this circle of protection around them, very angry about it. What you see down here is a really large, just entirely open sort of basement area. And it's cold down here is the first thing that you notice as you sort of walk in and take a few steps into the room. It is cold down here. The walls are lined with various sort of barrels and vats and containers all up along the walls. You can't see in any of them at the moment. Most of them are closed. A few of them might be open, but you can't see in any of them from here. And you also see... well, let me have wisdom perception checks from all of you to see what else you see. Zenda and Lambeau, unless we're creating more light, you all can see what is within 5 feet of you at the moment, so I will not need checks from you.
Okay.
Unless you want to cast light, which is also fine.
She'll probably check to see if it's okay to just do the usual light up her gloves thing.
Okay.
But she wants to make sure the other two are kosher with that. Okay, so yeah, so she'll
okay,
do the...
all right. In that case, I can take wisdom perception checks from the two of you as well.
Not that it's gonna help.
Well.
I rolled a 12.
Okay. What else we got going here? We got a 7 for Miss Zenda. We got a 3 for Miss Lambeau.
And a 17 from Zephyr.
All right. So Zephyr and Merrick, you all notice also sort of along the walls, sort of lying along the walls at irregular intervals, you do see more of these sewn together creatures just sort of lying on the ground along the walls. But all of these seem either incomplete or like they were completed, but even less well put together than the ones that you have seen and dispatched. Clearly, like, I don't know, maybe early prototypes or something. Zephyr, you are able to also see at the far end of the cellar what looks like it's blended sort of into the wall a bit, sort of like that effect in the movie Labyrinth where like you can't actually see the gap in the stone wall because it's perfectly matches up with the wall in front. If you've seen that movie, if you don't, you have no idea what I mean. But anyway, so you see that there's a staircase heading up, sort of on the far wall of this cellar.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Excellent.
But yes, I will certainly point that out to everyone.
Great. So yeah, that's what you all see down here.
Well, right. Do we try and head up and confront Orvid, or do we investigate get around here? Again, just unless I say it, it's mental.
Okay.
Unless I specify it's mental at this
Okay.
point.
Well, I suppose we have enough evidence to make an arrest. This certainly isn't within the confines of the town, and whatever he's been up to, it's no good.
Merrick kind of snickers when Zephyr says arrest.
The worst.
But otherwise, no comment.
The worst.
Well, I guess we go have a talk with Mr. Orvid then.
Okay.
Let's do.
So upstairs you head?
Or
Yeah.
well, actually, before that, do we want to? Because I don't think the other things have been neutralized, but do we want to also stab those things to death, or just keep going with haste to Orvid?
Let's take care of Orvid first, because he may be a difficult problem as these are neutralized.
All right. Upstairs we go. Hopefully the door isn't locked again.
You got your
Okay, I
robe with
got
you now. Yeah, you got it now. You got it now.
You say that, one shall happen.
Yeah, well, you ain't right. You ain't wrong. I mean, you is right. All right, so you all head across the room. As you sort of pass some of these vats, you see that they seem to be vats, barrels, whatever, crates. You can sort of see in some of the open ones that they seem to be filled with the pieces and the parts that these creatures are created from. Now, some of that means body parts, but some of it also just means wood scraps. Some of it is bits of straw and hay to stuff them with. Some of it is dirt and rocks and stone. But you recognize all of it as the materials that were used to make these creatures.
Okay, perhaps Orvid is in fact guilty. I can admit when I'm wrong.
I like that about you, Lambo. I like that
I like when she's wrong too.
Oh, Merrick.
Well, there it went. We had a nice moment where the group was
Was
bonding.
a joke, Lambo. Lighten up. Let's go.
One can never tell with you.
Is that you, God?
All right, so you all head across the room, passing all of these sort of horrible sights. As you get closer to the door, one of the figures, the things lying on the ground sort of near the door, begins to twitch at your approach, but it's so poorly made and sort of falling apart that it can't really manage to even get up to interact with you all, but it clearly sort of wants to, as it just sort of twitches and
That's
flops
sad.
on the ground. You get to the stairs. The stairs lead up a little ways, and there is a trap door at the top of a ladder that is at the top of these stairs. So you get stairs a little ways up, then a ladder that leads straight up, and you can see at the top of the ladder is a trap door.
Who wants to go first?
Is it locked?
Well, I don't know. You can go
I'm
check
gonna
it out.
Look. I'm gonna go check to see if it's
All right,
locked.
so you climb up, and you don't see any from this side anyway. You don't see any sort of locking mechanism or whatever. It just looks like you're meant to push up on it, and it opens.
Okay. Can one of you do a thing to see if there's anything above this? So when I open it, I don't die immediately. Anyone?
Lambo will do detect magic at will because she can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything magical about it?
Don't see anything magical about the trapdoor or anything beyond it.
Okay. Doesn't seem magical, so if there is something that will be mundane, and that's your forte.
All right. Then it takes a deep breath.
She takes a deep breath, counts down.
3, 2, 1, and just cracks it a little bit, just to peek.
And so
And then
3,
close.
2, 1, and it doesn't. It feels like something is barring it, maybe from the other side, or
He
is
put
sitting on
furniture
top
on
of it, or what's that?
He put furniture on top of it.
Damn.
Which we would have known if that door would have been locked. How dare he?
How dare he?
Still trying.
It budges a tiny, tiny little bit.
Okay.
You can actually make me a strength athletics check if you want. Maybe it will budge more than a tiny, tiny bit.
Oh, everything's fine.
I'm sure
Nobody-
strength is also your forte, right?
No,
your strength isn't
it's
terrible.
Not. That makes me.
It's not as bad as I thought.
It's not terrible, but it's not what I want.
It's not what I want.
Not what I want. Oh no.
Oh.
What happened to my...
How many ones is that today?
Oh, girl.
No. No, it didn't go anywhere.
It didn't go
It just-
anywhere. You sort of hit your head on it.
Yeah. Go.
Oh, girl. That's another natural one. Gotta love it.
Okay, climbs back down the ladder.
All right. Anyone else
Not
want to
gonna-
go?
Well, are we still attempting to be stealthy, or do we just want that door open?
Oh, boy. Oh, that's
I
always a
want-
terrifying question.
I want the door open. We know it's Orvid.
Zephyr? Zephyr?
Let's do it. I think we need to drop all pretense of stealth, I suppose.
All right.
Do it.
Knock, knock. It's time to Sherlock.
Yes! All right, and with a loud bang, the trapdoor flies open. You hear clattering as whatever was on top of it on the other side tumbles off of it and lands on the ground loudly. But it is in fact open, and nothing comes swarming down it immediately.
right, let's go try and get Dormant, I guess.
After you.
Right, scrambles up.
All right. So Lambeau scrambles up first. Who's behind Lambeau?
Zephyr will go second.
All right. Third.
I will go third.
All right.
Then
And is Merrick now? I normally would say, and Merrick brings up the rear, but I don't actually know. I can't assume that they will follow. So.
Yes, Merrick will follow.
Okay. Great.
Thanks for checking.
You're very welcome.
Valid check.
All right, so you all come out in what clearly you recognize Merrick as the sort of hunting lodge-esque room. You see a few things a little more clearly. There are 3 sort of stuffed wolves around in various places around the edges of this room. Above the fireplace is mounted a stag's head. But now that you're actually in here and not looking through the windows, and now that Lambeau has a bit of a light source to sort of make things easier to see, you realize that these sort of taxidermic trophies are also sewn and cobbled together. They're very clearly wolves, but it doesn't look like any of the wolves are just one single wolf. They've been sewn together from bits of various wolves. The stag's head, the antlers were sewn on separately. You can see bits of wood that were sort of attached to the antlers themselves. Clearly, this was these are products of the same twisted mind that created those creatures that you have twice now trapped in magic circles. Also in this room, once you're able to tear your eyes away from these horrible things, there are 2 padded chairs that are sort of draped in fine sort of throws, facing a hearth. There's an oak table between them that has a couple of empty wooden goblets on it. There's a little silver candelabrum on it. A chandelier hangs above the table. You can see that there was a chair. Sorry, not a chair. There was a sort of small cabinet that had been pushed on top of the trapdoor that is now sitting sort of open on its side. There's another larger cabinet on the opposite side of the room that is still closed, and there is a door that leads out of this room. It is shut. Actually, it's a set of. Let's see. Yeah, it's a single door that leads out of this room and deeper into the house.
Have we seen any sign of Ovid? Has he shown up?
No. I mean, you can make wisdom perception checks if you like, maybe, to see if you can hear anything, but you haven't seen him. He would be pretty obvious if you tried to walk in.
I got a 12 on mine.
You don't hear anything in particular, no. Oh, good lord. That's a 5 from Lambeau.
Yep.
I got a 6.
A 6 from Merrick. And Zenda, I await with bated breath your perception check. Ooh, it's a 17 plus 1, I think, right? Or is it more than that?
We love wisdom.
Plus... Oh, no, plus 4. That's a 21. You don't hear anything. Sorry.
I gotta be like that.
I'm very sorry.
I can hear you. I just have to play toggle games with the mic and the sound so you don't get the... Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So, yeah, you don't hear anything. It doesn't seem like Ovid is anywhere near this particular chamber, or moving around or anything like that.
Can you have Lazarus do a circle around?
Where are the Lazarati at this point?
I lost the Lazarati because I cast a magic circle. Well, because they actually timed out because they only last an hour.
Okay.
So they're done. I have 1 Lazarus, though.
Can you have Lazarus circle around?
Caw, motherfuckers.
All right, so we'll have Lazarus circle around. We'll have to start him on the bottom and head up. And we don't see... Lazarus doesn't see anybody on the first floor, and I'll continue to update you as he... I mean, do you just want to wait for Lazarus to do his flyby, or you all want to do something else in the meantime?
mean, if time's of the essence, because Orvid, if he's still in this house, definitely heard that.
Yeah.
I think we go ahead and go up.
Sure, let's do.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll update you bit by bit as Lazarus checks out the rest of the house. So, heading out of this room then through the door?
Yep.
All right. So you all head through that doorway, open up the door, and it leads out onto... Oops, lost my place. Here we go. It leads out into what is clearly sort of a main central hall for the house. You can see a black marble fireplace on one end of this room, sort of cut through. This marble is beautifully carved and sort of shot through with these really interesting looking veins of red. And on the other side is a grand, also black marble spiral staircase heading up into the house. Mounted above the wall of the fireplace is a portrait of a city. You all can make, I mean, if you care to look at it, we can talk more about that, but it's a picture of a city there. There are several doors on the opposite side of the room from where you all are. There's one set of double doors to your left on the same wall, and then the staircase that heads up.
Zafir will look at the portrait. He's curious.
All right, make me an intelligence history check, if you would.
15.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're a man about town. You lived in the Free City of Greyhawk for a while, so you recognize this city as a depiction of the city of Irongate, which is where you have heard that Felix is from. You can see that in this portrait, the city appears to be under siege. It is not a particularly happy portrait of the city, landscape of the city, whatever. You are aware that Irongate has spent a lot of its time lately under siege in one way or another and has been attacked. Most, I would say, of the population of the town has actually fled the city itself to surrounding areas, and it is mostly just dwarven miners and other dwarves who have stayed within the city walls to protect the city on and off over the years.
Interesting. Would it be like a stretch to imagine that Ovid is probably like a refugee of some sort?
No, not a stretch at all. There are plenty of refugees. You know, most of the folks sort of stayed in the area. Irongate is actually not exactly close to Brenton, but it's absolutely reasonable to think that Ovid could have, that Felix could have fled from Irongate and made his way to Brenton.
Interesting. I'll just casually mention it to the others.
Yeah. How the rest of you feeling about this? What are we doing? Where are we going?
I am like hand on Zenda's shoulder as I am in crow form.
Right. Right. By now, we'll say that Lazarus has made it up and checked all the second floor windows and still has seen no sign of Felix.
All right, let's head towards the third floor then. Maybe he's back in his bedroom.
Well, you're currently on the first floor, and but you want to head to the third floor because that's where his bedroom.
Yeah, but I want to
I
head
get
to
you. I get you. Thoughts and feelings? Agreement? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yes.
All right. So you all head up this grand staircase. Like I said, black marble shot through with red veins all the way up it. You head upstairs. You get to the second floor landing. And you can see another, very similar to the one downstairs, sort of elegant hall. There are things to see here, but if you all are bound and determined, you can just continue straight up the staircase to the third floor. And once you get to this third floor landing, you see, so you get up to this third floor landing, all the way up this black marble staircase, and you come out and you see that there is here, against the far wall, is yet another one of these sewn together creatures, but this one doesn't. It seems complete, but it doesn't seem animate to you all. It's sort of standing. It almost looks like you can almost see the sort of supports that have been like placed around it to hold it in place and hold it upright. This looks like some sort of a display or a statue version of it or something on the far side of this hallway, this balcony area that you've gotten to the top of with the staircase. You can see several doors, both to your right and to your left, leading into various other rooms of the house.
That's disturbing.
Zephyr is curious. He wants to look over this thing and see if maybe this is his like opus. Maybe this is like what he's been assembling all the specific parts for.
Yeah, make me an intelligence investigation check.
Natural 20.
All right. So you see this thing, and the first thing that strikes you is that it is much more carefully made. It is much more finely made. Still, the sew job is not that of a professional, but it was done with much more care, clearly. And the way that the pieces are fitted together on this creature are sort of seem to align a little bit better. It's just the highest quality one of these things that you've seen. It's actually also sort of dressed. There's a sort of jacket on it, and like a pair of pants that have been put on this thing, which is somehow like even more grotesque and creepy because it's like an attempt to make something very clearly not human look more human. You do notice sticking out of the breast pocket of the jacket of this thing a little piece of folded up paper.
I want to grab the paper, but before I do, I want to ask, does this thing have hands?
It does have hands, yes.
Interesting. I will alert everyone to the fact that I'm going to pull the paper out of this thing's pocket.
Oh, I understand your question better now than I did before. It has one hand that looks like it is a flesh hand. The other hand is carved poorly from wood.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait, can't Merrick do mage hand instead?
You all are a nervous bunch.
Yes!
No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Very well. If that's what you wish to do, let us attempt that.
Boop. Boop. All right. So you're able to mage hand and pull the note out of the pocket without any trouble.
And I hand it to Zephyr.
All right.
Zephyr will look it over.
So Zephyr looks it over, and it's sort of scrawled. What languages do you speak, Zephyr?
Let me look. Common, Elvish, Giant, and Halfling.
You cannot read it, though I think actually the glyphs might be the same as the giant glyphs, but don't quote me on that. I'm gonna look that up while I think about it. But you can't read the language. If you would like to make an intelligence just a straight intelligence check, or intelligence history, I suppose, if you're proficient in history, to identify what the language is, we can do that.
I will cast Comprehend Languages.
Or you'll cast Comprehend Languages, and then you'll lay hands on the paper, and you will realize that it is in fact Dwarvish, and you can read it, and it simply says, I have perfected it. This was my greatest work. Onward and upward. And it is signed Dr. F.O.
This was a triumph.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So I'll quietly read that to everyone, or even mentally read that to everyone.
Onward and upward. Is he flying now?
Has he fled?
Why
hope
is
not.
he? Why? What's the point? It's the end
We should
goal.
question him. Let's see if we can still find him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suspect he's no longer here.
Should we maybe destroy these things just in case he comes back and wants to put the actual like magic into them to make them work? Should we get rid of these? Should we disembody the disembodied? Just wondering.
We should keep them intact at least as long as long as necessary to convince the townspeople that we weren't just blundering around this net.
I never would have thought of that.
Well,
You're
we can.
smart.
How about we destroy the ones that are fully functional and leave the ones that were alone?
I'm certainly okay with that. We don't
I'm
want to
ready.
run out the clock on Merrick's good spell.
All right. So
Let's
I guess.
go to his bedroom first.
Yeah, that first.
Yes.
You want to check in his bedroom first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which way are you going? I guess, Merrick, I guess actually Lazarus could figure out which direction the bedroom is. And I believe it is the biggest door to your right. Yes, it is. There's a set of actually double doors to your right, clearly leading into sort of the master suite of this house.
That one. Let's go there.
All right.
After you.
So you all head up to those doors and creak them open, and inside is indeed the master suite of this house. It is a sort of large room. There are sort of brilliant, not brilliant, but impeccably rich and clean burgundy drapes covering the windows in this room. They're open because that's how Lazarus is able to see in. But they're just sort of draping on the sides. There's a 4-poster bed with embroidered curtains on the 4 posts, sort of in the center of the room. Next to it, there's a matching pair of wardrobes. There is in one corner a small vanity with a wood-framed mirror on it. There's a padded chair in front of the vanity. There is another ornately woven rug in the center of this room here, though not quite as nice as the one from Haverton Manor that caused you all so much trouble. There are other paintings and portraits that, Zephyr, you can identify pretty quickly as other scenes of Irongate throughout this room. Including some of them. There are some that are sort of close-ups of the mines and some dwarven miners in them, in some of these smaller landscapes that you see. Let's see, what else? In one corner, there is also a door, another door that is shut, leading to some other part of the house. Oh, and across from that door is a small little door in the wall that looks like it leads to some sort of dumbwaiter system or something like that.
I'll actually check that out.
The dumbwaiter?
Yep.
So you can go over to it. Currently, you open it up. Currently, the tray for the dumbwaiter looks like it is not on this floor, so you assume it must be further down. There is a little button on the wall next to the dumbwaiter door that well, that's all I'll say. There's a little button next to it.
Sure. We'll press the button.
Make me a wisdom perception check when you press it, Zephyr.
11.
It doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, it works. You push it. It's not like it's stuck or anything. But it doesn't seem to do anything.
Should we all make perception checks to maybe
Sure, you can all make them.
find a secret entrance to something?
Oh, well, are you trying to listen for... I mean, are you trying to pay attention to the button, or are you all looking around the room? Those are the same
Lambo
check,
will
but I
look
just want to know
around-
what you're doing. Sorry, say it again, Limbo.
Lambo will be looking around the room.
Okay.
See if something changes.
Yeah, looking at the room.
Okay, and
Nope.
Zenda, same, I
Same.
assume.
Yes.
Oh, boy. That's another 1. Not natural. Adjusted 1 for Lambo.
Hmm.
Merrick also got a 1. Oh, boy. Y'all.
Okay.
And an 8 for Zenda. None of you find shit.
None of us rolled above a 10. None of us.
That is a true statement.
None
That is
of
that is a true statement right there.
It's
It's amazing. Really.
Zephyr is just going to be like impatiently pressing the button over and over again, waiting for something.
Okay.
What is that door that you said?
Yeah, there's a door sort of on one wall of the room.
Can I go to that?
Yeah.
I want to open it.
All right, you open it and it leads out onto a small little balcony next to the bedroom.
Maybe he did fly away.
Possible.
Zenda also wants to go inspect the little dumb waiter thing, the little thing. I'm assuming I'm the only one small enough to maybe fit in there.
Well, you could definitely fit in it if you wanted to, like, poke your head down.
Kind of want to poke my head down and see what's happening.
So you poke your head down and it's pitch black down there.
Well, damn.
Zephyr will like cast a light spell on something that will help illuminate it.
All right, so you, and what is it? It's 30 feet of bright light and 30 feet of dim light, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see, I think actually all the way down, and you can see that there is a little, like, platform or something all the way down. Looks like it's probably down on the first floor of the house. And you can see sort of a pulley system that looks like it can't be operated from up here, but you can see kind of how it might work to raise and lower. Looks like it has to be operated from somewhere further down, though.
Yeah. Well, that didn't do anything for me.
Well, if he flew, can you have Lazarus fly above the tree line, see if there's a dwarf flying about?
I really love that image of a dwarf just sort of winging his way in circles around the city of Brenton, the town of Brenton.
Flapping in the wind.
I love everything about that. I really do. That just really gets me in a good way. Oh, man.
I think we've hit a dead end.
I think so, too.
Unfortunately.
Well, let's do the hard work that there is in front of us and go disassemble those things and summon the local constabulary.
All right.
The local constabulary is a generous term for two humans who occasionally go and, like, chase off rowdy kids.
Yeah, Brenton PD, Brenton Patrol Department.
Yes, that. Exactly that. All right, but anyway, the first order of business, it sounds like, is to go destroy those things in the basement. All right, so again, you can go all the way downstairs back to where you came from and take your pot shots at those poor things down there, and that's no problem. You've got plenty of time left to do that in. So, left down there again are the pieces of corpses, sort of lying in a heap in the center of this cellar. Is the constabulary next on the list?
Either that or Mini Fae. Maybe Mini Fae would be more effective.
Certainly couldn't be much less effective if we're being fair, so.
Merrick's gonna do another deep dive into this area, the underground.
Into the cellar area?
Yeah.
Okay, what you looking for?
Nothing in particular, just anything, because we have no leads again.
Books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Books.
Notes.
Books, notes.
I'll take either wisdom, perception, or intelligence investigation from anybody who cares to down here.
That was a natural 19.
All right.
A 26.
Nice.
Got a 14 on investigation myself.
Okay. We got a... Hey! It's a 50... Oh, it's investigation. That's why. I was like, hey, you rolled a wisdom. No, you didn't.
No. Wisdom is cursed,
No, you
I
didn't.
say.
Hey, there's a not shit wisdom. It's a 17 for Zenda on her perception. All right.
So harsh.
So you all look around and sort of all together. Merrick, you end up sort of... actually, Merrick, you'll discover something separate. Go ahead and make me an intelligence arcana check as well, Merrick, since you're going to see this and no one else will. The rest of you really scour this place, and really it's pretty clearly, after a good search, it's pretty clearly just storage down here. Storage of these body parts and other bits and things like that. It doesn't even really look like there was any work that was done down here at any point. Merrick, what was that arcana check? 15. So you notice that there are, at pretty regular intervals all around the walls, and actually there's some on the floor as well in this cellar, there are glyphs sort of traced and empowered, and you get the sense that these glyphs are probably what's causing this cellar to be so cold. You know, cellars are generally going to be a little bit cooler than the rest of the house, but clearly they have been aided by magic down here to keep it cool.
We're in a freezer.
We're in a freezer.
Way to
Because
put
the
it.
trail has gone cold.
Ah!
You're welcome.
I almost want to end it there just so that I can name this episode "The Trail Goes Cold" and then next week use. But no, I won't. We've still got 20 minutes, so I won't end it there.
Looks like we're gonna have to put this case on ice.
God.
See, this is what the next 20 minutes are going to be.
Yeah, clearly it's just puns for 20 minutes. Enjoy, y'all. No. How do we want?
Well, so we've disassembled the active golem thing, but I think we should probably get Minnie Faye and at least notify her that this is going on, because I'm sure she will want to know.
Seems reasonable. And then I say we go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, we haven't slept, huh?
It's true.
Great. Let's go
All
see
right,
me.
so
All
off
right.
to Minnie
Yep.
Faye.
So you all head back out the way you came in, up those stairs, out through the outhouse, and out. Now you go into Minnie Faye. Now it is approximately what 4:30 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
That's fine.
Zephyr
We
will
can
actually.
write her a note.
It's true.
Oh, you should have left a note. Zephyr will ask Merrick if they can leave Lazarus here so that we're not like leaving and then some funny business happens and we come back and we all look like fools. But I say we march over to Minnie Faye and wake her up, which, you know, she's probably close to her time of getting up anyway, I would presume.
When you ask Merrick that, their response is basically to conjure Lazarus and to set him on your shoulders and to send him with you, and Merrick's gonna stay behind.
Oh.
Oh.
I am going to rip this house apart.
Oh.
Oh, very well. So then perhaps I should go alone. I presume that this would be more dangerous than the road to...
Probably.
So I will...
Lambo just wants to go to bed.
There's beds here, Lambo. Use one of them while I destroy everything. Fine.
I can't sleep through your destruction of everything.
I'll do it quietly.
Zephyr's gonna use his last third spell slot to cast Catnap on Lambeau, so at least a nice 10-minute nap that counts for an hour.
I love the visual you did not giving any warning to her, and you're just
Nope.
like, and she's just like, I'm so tired, and you're like, oh, I can help. Fall.
Gonna do it like one of those charismatic priests, just yam.
Yes.
All right, so Lambeau
It's asleep.
is asleep for 10 minutes. Xanda?
Zena looks at Merrick and says, Merrick, is there something going on? Do you need to talk about it? I can help you go through the house, but you seem like something you want to talk about.
The only thing I want to talk about right now is destroying this house and trying to find any scrap of evidence we can as to where this man went.
Okay, well, then I'll, and then she goes and starts digging through like a corner, a little sad that they don't want to share their feelings.
Okay.
A little sad.
Just digging through body parts in the corner, sadly.
Uh-huh.
What is this?
All right,
I
and
know wants
I
them to be
mean-
their friend so bad.
I know.
So bad.
Zephyr, you're gonna head and go have a chat with Minnie Faye. Is that the plan?
Yes, although if I'm able, I would like to do one other thing and go check on Ren and make sure he's okay.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
my badgers have expired by now, and I need to go check on him, make sure he's all right, and then I'll go to Minnie Faye.
All right. So Zephyr heads out. Lambeau is just asleep on the floor in the middle of the cold storage for the next 10 minutes. Zenda is sadly picking through body parts, and Merrick?
First thing I'm going to do is go upstairs and destroy his sculpture he made.
Ooh, you're so vindictive. All right, so Merrick goes upstairs, heads up La 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 la. Where is my map? Heads up, back up to the 3rd floor to where that statue is. Merrick, what is your passive perception? Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure it's like an 11. Oh no, it's just 10. It's the flat 10.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, let's see. There's still
I'm
a
getting
chance.
some like Kathy Bates with the sledgehammer energy from this.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so you go over, and how are you planning to destroy this thing?
I'm literally gonna grab it and just start ripping it apart with my
God.
hands.
Okay, so you grab it and you start ripping it apart, and something. Well, let's see. Oh, okay. Does a 9 hit you?
Uh-oh.
No.
Okay, make me a wisdom perception check, please.
14.
You feel something like try and touch you from behind, and you turn around, and on the floor right behind you is a hand. Just a hand that has crawled out of somewhere and is trying to claw you. And I don't. There's just 2 of us at the moment, so I'm not going to have us roll initiative, but it's coming for you. So now that you've noticed it, it does not any longer have advantage, which didn't help last time anyway. But it is going to try and claw you one more time. Does an 11 hit you?
No.
Okay, what would you like to do? Take a turn. As this claw is just there.
I'm gonna stomp on it.
All right, we'll call that an unarmed strike. So go ahead and make that attack roll.
It's a 10.
I do not believe a 10 hits. It does not, so the claw sort of skitters off to the side and out of the way, and then it comes back in and tries to leap onto your leg and grab you again and claw you again for an 8. My god, you two are trading ineffectual blows. It's like a fucking bitch slap fight. All right, Merrick, what's up next?
I'll infestation it, I guess. I don't want to waste a spell slot on the claw.
All right, that feels reasonable. That's a con save?
Yes.
Okay, it got a 6.
It takes 2d6 poison damage.
Okay, it's immune to poison, so the creatures crawl out of it and just seem to sort of enjoy crawling around it, and then they disperse. And it is going to try and scamper up your leg.
It also moves 5 feet in a random direction.
Is that if it... Oh, because it failed its save. Right. Okay, so roll a d8. 1 is directly towards you. 5 is directly... 1, 2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's a little ways away from you. So it sort of skitters back 5 feet as it's carried by these little insects. And then it springs up and tries to, like, clamp onto your leg to crawl up your leg even further. For the love of all things holy. That's a 22 to hit. Mother Mary.
Nope.
Shut up. So this time it does manage to latch onto you, and it slashes you with its surprisingly sharp claws for 4 slashing damage as it continues to hold on to you. And you can hear the sounds, the sort of scrabbling sounds of more of these things coming from somewhere else in the house towards you. It is your turn.
So hearing this, they're gonna pull out a dagger and stab it.
Yep, absolutely. Do it. Attack roll.
That's a 16.
That'll hit.
That's 3 damage.
3 damage. So you sort of pry this thing off of your leg and stab it so that it sticks right into the ground, and the claw sort of writhes for a moment, and then it flattens out, and you have vanquished that one. But you can hear more of these things scrabbling and coming from somewhere to your right, somewhere in the direction of where those doors to the bedroom were, although you don't think it's coming from the bedroom doors because you can sort of see the doors from where you're standing, and it doesn't look like anything is coming from that way.
They're gonna run downstairs and try to get everyone out of the house.
You've used your action. Would you like to use a move of any sort?
Yes.
Where would you like to go?
downstairs.
Okay, so you begin to go down the stairs. You look behind you and you see about 5 more of these hands crawling towards you, and they get to the edge of the balcony, to the top of the stairs, but instead of following you down the stairs, some of them just begin to crawl down the wall of the balcony and begin to sort of crawl on the walls heading down to you. What are you doing now, Merrick? None of them have gotten close enough to attack you yet.
I'm still gonna run. I'm gonna start shouting downstairs, like, there's hands and crawling.
They're quite far below you, so I don't think they can hear you, but if they could, I'm sure Zenda would be like, yeah, I got hands too, holding up 3 or 4 of them. You've got hands in your hands.
But I'm gonna be stabbing them if they get near me.
All right, so you are running down these stairs, stabbing where you can. More and more of these claws continue to pour down the walls, scrabbling, following you down the stairs. And as you get to the bottom, you get into the room that'll lead you to the trap door. And you get to the trap door. You continuing to call out to your friends?
Yes.
All right, so finally,
Help!
You all can hear, at this point, Lambeau is perhaps, we'll say, it's actually probably not quite, but that's okay. We'll say that she is just awakening from her slumber, and she and Zenda both hear Merrick yelling,
"Help! Get out! We need to leave!"
All right then. So.
And that is where we are going to end for this week. Yes. Excellent. Oh, I love a good cliffhanger ending, as you all know. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out and watching. Thank you for once again, a fantastic session for playing. Things are getting creepy. We've got crawling claws and hands attacking everywhere. We've got body parts. We have you all just having a real grudge against these sewn-together creatures. I had a blast. Why don't we go around? You can, everybody, let everyone else know who you are, where we can find you on social media, if that is a thing you are interested in, and who you played this afternoon, and also one of your favorite or notable moments from the session. Let us start. We'll go in reverse order this time, so we'll start with Alicia.
Hey, I'm Alicia Redding, G98 on Twitter. Follow me. I do stuff on Twitch. Sometimes my stream decides to work, sometimes it doesn't. Remember a couple other streams, but if you're interested, just follow me on there and I'll put all the things. My favorite part of the day, there are a lot of moments to choose from, honestly. I think probably me and Zafir getting stuck at the locked door. Like, it's locked. What do we do?
Absolutely 100%. Yes, definitely on my list as well. We're gonna hop down to Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I played Zenda, and you can follow me on Instagram at Emily D Mads. My favorite part of today, I really like the term murder circle, and I also like Lazarati. That was pretty great.
Yeah, those are definitely both canon now for our little world. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Ismail.
Yes, I played Zafir today, and you can find me on Twitter under Elven Wizard King or King Lorathorn. And my favorite part of today, I'll be a little bit selfish, and I really liked the summoning of the badgers.
Yeah, I love that image. I loved sending them in with Ren and him snuggling up in a badger circle to protect him. I loved their utility in helping you dig. Was a good one. All right, last but most certainly not least, Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I play Merrick. You can find me on Twitter at super_queero. I do a bunch of things. You can find all of them on there, including the Prison Palace podcast, which is my big thing. My favorite part was probably Zenda trying to connect with Merrick, but not getting anywhere because Merrick is in a manic state at this moment.
She had a hard time this week. She was maybe sort of making some inroads before, but not this week. Oof.
Nope.
I was trying so hard.
I know you were. All right, and I am Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master DM Jazzy Hands. You can follow me on Twitter at DM Jazzy Hands. I am the dungeon master for the actual play podcast The Last Refuge, which you can follow on Twitter at DND Last Refuge. That's at D, the letter N, D, Last Refuge. We are just over 2 weeks away from our 2-year anniversary for that show. We are super excited about it. We're going to be streaming our anniversary live on July 10th, so check out our Twitter for all that information information. You can usually find me on Monday nights over at the Variant Roles channel on a game set in Ravnica, but we are not playing tonight, so instead you should hang around here and watch Gnome's game, The Grove Where We Meet. That'll be happening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time here on the Greyhawk channel, a Feywild themed adventure. Very exciting. You can also find me on Fridays from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern on Encounter Roleplay, and on Sundays from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Gratuitous RP, DMing the Half-Rate Heroes. We want to do another quick little shout out for all of our sponsors and supporters. Thank you to Roll20. Thank you to Heroic Maps. Thank you to Tabletop Loot. Thank you to Devin Rue and to Cantrip Candles for all of your support and sponsorships of the show. And of course, thank all of you for being here, for watching, for following the channel. If you have subscribed or joined our Patreon, patreon.com/thegreyhawk channel, even more thanks to you. We so appreciate your support in all that we do. There is so much going on every week here on the Greyhawk channel. So be sure to, like I said, come back and check that out at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight in the Grove Where We Met. We will be back next Monday, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific here on the Greyhawk channel to continue the story of the Brenton Files, monsters and myths. But for this week, that's all I got for you folks. Thanks so much. Thank you for bearing with me through all of our technical issues and for hanging out. We appreciate it. Have a great week. Happy gaming, y'all.